fade but never really gone. In every beat, you're the rhythm, the song. A shadow linger in a fire grown cold. Yet in this melody I still hold. You fade but never really gone. In every beat, you're the rhythm, the song. A shadow linger in a fire grown cold. Yet in this melody I still hold. Let go, let go, let go. Under the lights, but I'm feeling alone. Lost in the crowd, yet your ghost calls me home. Echoes of laughter, memories stay. But in my heart the colors fade away. I still feel you here, oh. And every beat so close, holding on, but I know, oh, you're just a dream I can't let go.
Hello everyone and welcome to the finale of the VRC ProtoH Series. It's been a wonderful season with 3 dramatic races, but it all goes down to the wire now with the title still in play at Watkins Glen. I am joined today by Josh Richards as always in the comms box. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well and looking forward to finally wrapping this championship up. It's been a really exciting battle through these first 3 races, and we now head to Watkins Glen, another really great track that should give us some really great action. So yeah, should be a really exciting one to wrap this mini championship up.
Yeah, for sure. And we've had so many different scenarios play out, actually, in terms of the racing. Obviously, we had that dramatic finish at Spa with the no-stop strategy. We had the shenanigans at Road Atlanta, really, with everybody just skedaddling across the course in various different ways. And yeah, I mean, the last time out was also awesome racing. You know, every single time with especially, you know, the lack of downforce in Mexico, that was a real difficult scenario for the drivers to get over. But here at Watkins Glen, a little bit more classic racing and a lot of opportunities to race different lines. Quite an open circuit, quite an old school circuit, one that I really enjoy racing myself. So we've got everything in the mix in this one. Just want to take a look over at the championship standings, perhaps. There you go. We got Buda Ferrand in first place with Lucas Mollman in second place, mathematically still with an opportunity to win, and anything can happen. We've seen it before. So all of the others having, you know, a few problems in the races which have put them out of the action for the championship. However, that battle for third place for that podium is still very hot.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any driver could finish up in that third place if they do pick up a win. It is still theoretically possible, I think, for P18. Anyone above that to be finishing in that third place position. So yeah, it should be a very interesting one. But yeah, for Buller to lose this one, it's going to take an almighty effort from Lucas tonight.
We've seen it happen before in other competitions, and you know, I wouldn't put it amiss, let's say, to have a late drama in the championship. That's for sure. We've got so many talented drivers showing up to race every single time. So very let's say unpredictable event, especially with the car performance. Last time out, we saw a little bit different sort of car performance with the cadenzas once again having the ultimate race pace, but then failing in terms of the tire wear and the tire temperature. And I wonder if it'll be the same here with a lot of fast flowing corners. Once again, you got more downforce this time. It's the sort of a normal altitude, let's call it, as qualifying is just getting underway. Drivers just on their warm-up laps at the moment. We will be switching to qualifying in a minute, but yeah, I mean, that summarizes pretty much the entirety of this showdown that we have, and I think every driver will be gunning for the top positions, either with nothing to lose or with lots to gain.
Yeah, we've had three different drivers in these first three races picking up a victory. So that, I mean, I think there's definitely a possibility we see a fourth different winner, a new winner in every single race. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a very interesting one tonight. So many drivers, and it is the final race of the championship. So many people with absolutely nothing to lose. They can go all or nothing, all in on that strategy to try and get themselves up the field. Maybe go for a riskier move they maybe wouldn't have thought out in the first round of the season, and that might be enough to try and get themselves up there in the fight.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many possibilities. We could sit here talking about it, I think, until the end of qualifying, which we're not going to do. We're going to get into that in just a second. Just wanted to take the opportunity to say there is currently a sale going on for all of the virtual racing cars content, and you can check that out in the description below the live stream and below the video on demand as well after the live stream. And it's running until the 16th of June, if my memory serves me correct. You can get all of the information precisely, obviously, in those links. But yeah, 10 and 15% off basically all of the products on the store, which is wonderful stuff to get involved in not only testing the cars, but also racing them with your friends, and potentially some series later on in the year. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's get on with the qualifying after that. Let's see where our drivers are at, as we've got some tentative lap times now on the board.
Yeah, Kraus currently with the fastest time at this moment, but we expect to see plenty improvements to be coming as they slowly get to grips with the track, slowly start to build the pace, the confidence, and the performance as well. So powering their way through this lovely track, getting the first few laps of qualifying underway. And I think it's going to be a really interesting qualifying session. So many high-speed corners around here, which really allows the drivers to carry that confidence and carry the momentum through the track. And it should allow for some drivers to build some confidence, but that is definitely not going to be building confidence. A spin there, really unfortunate, resetting back to the pit lane as well.
That's very unfortunate. I was going to say that's a commentator's curse right there, but you know, we won't start that early, right? As yeah, it's going to be one of those sessions where I think drivers just have to build up the confidence, as you're saying. Like, there's so many opportunities to lock the brakes or have a little bit of a mishap in the corners. Again, going wide, sometimes this very old school track, so you've got grass on the exit of the corners, or indeed a barrier right there, so you can't really push the limits like you can sometimes in Spa, not particularly in Road Atlanta, but in Mexico you could push the limits a little bit more, whereas here you've got to sometimes even stay away from the curbs. As for some reason, I'd lost my timing briefly on my screen, and now I've got it back, so everything's good. I can now swap drivers and see where everybody is. But Kraus at the top of the leaderboard at the moment, with Bühler Ferran just ever so consistent. He always is, and it's kind of daunting for all of the drivers to participate against such a just rock solid driver, I think is the best description.
Yeah, we haven't found a track yet to crack the great Ferran. Maybe this will finally be the one where he seems to struggle a bit more and really make some mistakes which allow the other drivers to properly get up there in the contention. Of course, he only picked up his win last time out, so yeah, it's taken him a while getting struggles with the traffic. But yeah, looking to try and bounce back strong in these final two rounds and secure up that championship as well. So yeah, all the drivers starting to get some laps on the board. Top two, only a tenth separating them at this current moment.
Yeah, indeed. And the times will probably be quite close on this track, because Although there's a lot of corners, there's not many heavy braking zones, and that means you can carry the speed, and usually what that means is that the drivers are always pushing the limits no matter where they are confidence level. And so what that normally means is that toward the end of quali especially, you'll have multiple drivers just getting in the sweet spot as wow, that was nearly a big crash there. I think that was not Warren, but I think that was Misberg nearly colliding there as, wow, Warren nearly goes for a spin. So a lot of drivers really struggling with rear traction, it would appear like, because everybody's going off track at the moment, as I think that was Urbanov. Yeah, Urbanov sliding around there, as we've got the Franzas have had quite a tricky time in this championship. They've had the qualifying pace sometimes, and then in the race it has kind of dropped off, so maybe we'll see them fighting a little bit. We've got Serrani in third place for the moment, a little bit off the pace of the front too, but could this be their race? Could this finally be the occasion for them to jump to the top?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Definitely looking to hope to see them up near the front of the field. But yeah, let's see where these guys can put themselves on the timing tower in this qualifying session. Of course, if you do get yourself up there at the front of the field, it can really change the shape of your race. As you said, there's not too many heavy braking zones around here, which means overtaking can be that little bit harder. Can definitely give you the opportunities. I think was that Prodhan going up to 420? I think I saw somebody jumping up the timing tower.
Indeed, we have, except I have lost my mouse, so I'm trying to find my mouse again. There we go, we found our mouse. Yeah, I think it was Prodhan moving up to P4, so he's just coming out and doing a warm-up lap. Wellman looking to improve their position, but P8 for the moment. The Isotta not really at the sweet spot at the moment. It's been quite a difficult car to drive. That Road Atlanta anomaly there has not been the case for the entire season, so very, very difficult for them. But Urbanov at the moment very slow on the pace. They've been fighting for the top 5 the entirety of the season, and here it might be a little bit more difficult. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's very early stages of qualifying. There's still a third of qualifying left to go, so many drivers still getting the rhythm, getting the feel for the cars, and you can't expect everybody to be going flat out from right from the start. There's a lot of traffic as well. This can't be helping. Although you get a tow up the hill, you have to make sure that the other driver gets out of the way, and they will actually, so this might be a good lap for Urbanovsky.
Yeah, well, let's see what he can manage now as he flicks it in. Bit of a slide there, though, as he got back on the power. Not ideal. And yeah, the balance of the car not looking too happy as he made his way through on this next stretch, though, carrying the speed through very nicely. Let's see what sort of pace he can put together. I mean, it's looking like an all-right lap time, but definitely not going to be the best, I don't think, by any stretch of the imagination. Going to be looking to try and find a really clean lap in those final few minutes. Try and put it together when you have that best grip. Let's see what he's going to put together here, though.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. Just coming down to the final corners. You've got to really be careful on the exits. If you go over the curb, it's fine, but you are losing time scrubbing the speed off and making the track longer than it actually is. Realistically, you want to put your wheels a little bit over the curb, but you want to maintain the traction. I feel they're having to lift off a little bit. That's an ideal line through there, as long as you can keep it within track limits. A little bit of a lock up into the last turn, which puts him wide over the curb again. Is it going to be a good time? Let's have a look. Oh, it's only improved by 0.2 of a second, which keeps them nigh on 2 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, unfortunate, but there's definitely time still to be found in that lap. Of course, we saw the big slide they had making their way through the chicane. So yeah, should still be time to be found in the lap at least, and of course plenty of time left to find it as well. We've got 19 minutes left on the clock for all the drivers to set their fast laps. Still currently Kraus sitting though on provisional pole position, that 1 minute 30.7 he set at the start of the session, still holding strong.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the times aren't improving by much. You got Chapman, who improved by a couple of tenths of a second there again, but the time's not drastically sort of improving by the seconds. Last time out in qualifying, we were having huge chunks of time gained, but yeah, a lot of people having some collisions with the barriers, as we can see on the timing screens here. There's quite a few drivers just pushing the limits a little bit too much. And what do you think that is because? Maybe the weight of the cars? Is it the up and down nature of the track? You've got a lot of blind crests and blind apexes, as Chapman deciding that that lap is not good enough at the slightest. Kraus on a push lap as far as I can see. So pushing a little way too hard into the barrier, and that is going to be back to the pit lane. So yeah, everybody's struggling a little bit. Buehler on the lap as well. That looks no, a warm-up lap must be, as he's weaving to warm up the tires. So, and well, that lap's not going to go far either. A lot of drivers spinning as soon as we switch the camera to them. Commentator's Curse part 2, version 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, I think this track is just going to be a really tricky one for all the drivers. I mean, of course, Spa at some corners, you have got the grass, you got the gravel. I mean, same with Road Atlanta as well. Mexico, not so much, but so many of these corners, you run a wheel slightly too wide over that white line. You're touching grass, there's no grip out there, and your car is spinning straight around. So it is definitely going to be a tough one for the drivers. They've really got to make sure they absolutely find that limit, slightly understep it, and you're going to be off the pace by a good chunk of time. Slightly overstep it, and you're going to be spinning around, and that's going to be your lap completely gone. So it's definitely going to be a tough balance to find, especially for the drivers up at the front, where they're looking to find those thousandths of a second.
Yeah, touching grass, I thought that was illegal for certain parts of the community. Definitely, would recommend doing that after the race, not during the race, that's for sure. But yeah, very, very difficult when you're trying to find that pace and you're trying to get everything out of the car. One thing, obviously, with the bumpiness of the track in certain parts and with the high curbs is that you can have these momentary losses of downforce where you feel confident in the car going into the corner, and then all of a sudden you lose all traction, all downforce, all grip, and away it goes. Like, for example, over those curbs there, that can be so detrimental. And if we don't see it in qualifying, we may see it in the race with the higher fuel loads, where some drivers just get it wrong, and even though they may be defending or attacking a position, they may just go a little bit too far, and it could end up really hampering them. So yeah, this track, a lot about risk taking, but also about knowing where to back off and where to just maintain a good race position. It adds to the jeopardy that this is the last race of the season, and so the nerves will be there, the anticipation will be there. We've had a week or two off without racing, so people need to get used to it once again if they race in other series. There's so many little factors that add up to it as we are approaching halfway through qualifying now, with the two lap times is the word for it. Lap times at the top is the sentence I was meaning to say, still standing from the first couple of laps that we had in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of something we saw out in Mexico as well. We were expecting to see big improvements right at the end of the session. They just never came. So it could just be the case that these cars perform really well in those first few minutes, and then they just struggle to find much more pace come the end of the session, and they're effectively just practicing for the race almost, potentially. It's definitely interesting that we aren't really seeing too many improvements out there. Maybe this could be a time to be found for Soranye, making his way through here, trying to carry that speed, get onto the power, and really drive out of the corners. But yeah, of course, it's going to be a tough one to find that performance, that improvement, when you have got the grass right there. It's such a tricky one for the confidence. You know that if you just try and find that little bit extra pace, it might just push you a bit too far out wide, and then that's your lap completely gone, and you've wasted that run, that time. And as the time does start to tick down, we've got 14 minutes left now to go here in qualifying. Every minute is going to matter. A small slide there as well from Soranye as he got onto the power, so that won't be helping his times. So yeah, let's see, is he going to find anything? I doubt it. Bullet is also out there on the track as well, making his way around slowly but surely, trying to find some pace as well. So let's see what these guys can manage.
Well, at the moment, he's nearly 0.2 of a second up, so this is going to be very close for pole position. If you have any opinions, or if you want to make a prediction as to who will be on pole and who will win the race, feel free to comment, and feel free to ask us anything, really, on the live chat of YouTube. it's always a pleasure to have a chat with viewers and with motorsport fans in general. So yeah, feel free to type anything, as long as it's TOS, obviously. But yes, indeed, Bühler not, well, improving a little bit, but not enough, really. Just lacking that final tenth of a second, which is quite annoying, really, isn't it? You're so close to pole position once again. But realistically, do you want pole position here? There's a long way up the hill on lap 1, and could you get the slipstream and actually, I don't know, profit from P2? A bit like at Spa, really.
I mean, it's definitely going to be a tough one, but I think ultimately you probably want that track position, even at tracks like Mexico, where we know how important the slipstream is on that run down the start-finish. I think you still probably would want to be that leading car, just to be able to try and control the pace, control the pack. You can obviously defend and try and hold on to that position, and you have the clean air as well. So I think that's probably going to be the focus still for Buller, at least, to try and get that pole position. And of course, remember, he is still in that championship fight. He doesn't really want to be losing any positions here or there. He only needs to be finishing, I think, in P11 to secure the championship. So ultimately, yeah, I don't think it'll be a major issue for him. I think he's just going to give it absolutely everything and try and go out with a bang.
Yeah, indeed, when you're in a position where, you know, for people like Bühler, who are just sort of cruising to the end, you want to have a good race, obviously, but you don't want to jeopardize anything, and so it's for other people to put him under pressure and sort of put him in a position where he has to push, as Bühler goes to the top then with that lap with a 1:30.5. Finally, he's found those 0.2 of a second, and that means that Kraus needs to respond now with 11 minutes in the session. Well, going over the grass like that is not the way to do it, and all the way spinning nearly into the grass on the exit there. I think he's just doing a warm-up lap right now, but going in onto the grass is not the correct procedure to warm up the tires, that's for sure. Prodan looking to get into that top 3. He's been just on the cusp of the top 3 every single time, and just inconsistency or just a few problems during the races has meant that he hasn't picked up as many points as perhaps he'd wanted. But this is a chance to prove everybody you know, wrong, that the pace is there, the consistency is there, and you know, hopefully they can get some good results on the board, if not in qualifying, in the race. It's looking good though, as Warren goes into P4. That's not something I had on my books. The pace finally there for Warren. He's been in the battles every single race. He's been tremendously unlucky sometimes. Now is this his opportunity?
Well, let's see what he can manage. Still 10 minutes left to go here in qualifying, so still time for him to find some time, but also there's still time for other drivers to find that pace as well and get themselves back ahead. 31.2 is the time that he currently has, 0.7 of a second off a provisional pole position. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one in these final few moments of qualifying to see what the drivers can finally do. Still time for a decent number of laps. You can probably get, I'd say, 2 good laps in these final 10 minutes, and then that should decide our qualifying order.
Yeah, so provisionally, let's go through that order. You've got Bühler in first, Kraus second, Serrani third, Warren in fourth, Prodan in fifth place, rounding out the top 5. Marino, good results for the moment, in sixth. Misberg in seventh, probably a bit disappointed in that pace for the moment. Urbanovsky, again, a little bit of a disappointment for them, not being able to find the times to drop into the 31s, with Wellman, I think, suffering from the car this time out. So difficult prospect for our driver in second place in the championship at the moment, needing basically a win to make sure that the championship is pressure for Bühler, who's currently on provisional pole, as we had an improvement. I think that was Marino improving to P5. So the top 5 has changed already. Miranda in 10th, Gebhardt in 11th, Crowell 12th, Bennett 13th, Chapman 14th, Eduardo 15th, and Andrade 16th. So a lot of drivers returning for this final race, and hoping at least to have a good result and to make amends for any past performances, or indeed looking to capitalise on previous good performances.
Yeah, I think just on the championship, as we have said quite a few times, obviously going to be a hot topic here in the final round of the season. Not only does Molman have to hope that they can find their way to the top step of the podium, they also have to hope that something goes very, very wrong for Buller. 11th place will give him the 9 points he needs to pick up the championship victory no matter where Molman finishes. And if Molman doesn't win, then he can't score enough points to pick up the championship either way. So it's going to be a tough one for sure as to whether he can even pull it off in the first place. It's going to take a lot of luck. Not only good luck for him, but probably some bad luck for Buller as well, as Kraus making his way through. Let's see what sort of pace he has on this lap.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic on the apex there of the final couple of turns. Very distracting when you're looking for that curb, looking for your turn-in point, and there's somebody there obscuring it. Also traffic creating a little bit of dirty air in this last turn, just drifting wide a little bit, but not tagging the wall as far as I can see. Will this be an improvement for Kraus across the line? It is not an improvement. So he has basically another couple of laps, and it doesn't help that the driver in front gets a little kick of oversteer, trying to find exactly who that is. It's not Warren, it might be Eduardo. Yes, it is Eduardo. No, it is not Eduardo. So we continue to look. Maybe it's Bennett. It is Bennett making a little bit of a mistake there, holding up Kraus, and Kraus, Kraus has made a big mistake there into the wall, so he's going to go back to the pit lane and have basically one attempt left because he's got to warm up those tires. So that's another card for Buller to play. They're out on a warm-up lap for the moment, so everything falling right for the French driver at the moment.
Yeah, and he's definitely had his fair share of bad luck in these first few races as well, of course. The back marker traffic in round 1 and round 2 potentially costing him the victory. It seemed like those were probably his victories effectively lost. There was easily a scenario, I think, where we had Buller winning race 1, 2 and 3. Had those cars potentially not been there, I mean, it definitely would have been a bit of a fight, especially in race 1. But yeah, it's interesting to see how things have played out throughout these few races, how luck has really been a factor for the drivers as well. And yeah, definitely gonna need to play a big factor in this final race if anything is gonna change. We've got 6 minutes left of qualifying though, and the time slowly ticks down. And let's see who can put some times together. Morand making their way through on a push lap, I would expect at least. And let's see if anybody can find some time in these final 6 minutes.
Yep, taking a look at the board at the moment, there's quite a few red sectors coming through. Marino on the lap right now is about 5/10 of a second up, so that's going to put him really close to the top 3, that's for sure. But can they keep it in play? It looks like the gap's a little bit erratic for the moment. And yeah, it looks like they've actually aborted that lap. It seems, which is not the best, but yeah, a lot of drivers struggling out there on their push laps at the moment, as it looks like the tires are cooking themselves once more with the very long corners, and we may see some strategies come into play now for this race. I wasn't anticipating that maybe, but having not driven so many laps of this track, I maybe miscalculated that the tires were a-okay basically, and it's looking in the quali trim at least that the rear traction is going to be severely the hampering factor for the entire race. So will we see some overtakes daring around the outside, or will we indeed see some traction battles off of the slower corners, for example turn 1, as Miranda coming around the last turn now? Can they get anywhere closer to the top 5? Not an improvement, sadly, as yet again another driver struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tough one now. I think we could be seeing very similar things to what we've seen in past races, where they just struggle to find any pace at the end of the sessions. Not sure if it's any overheating issues, whether the track just doesn't really grip up as much as they would expect it to normally, or if it is genuinely just a confidence thing with the car, where they can't quite find enough confidence to put the perfect lap together.
Kraus is going fast.
But yeah.
Kraus is
Yeah,
going
let's
fast
see
here.
what he
Sorry
can
to
do.
interrupt. He's about a tenth of a second up according to the timing. Will that be accurate? Across the line it is. He gained a lot in that last corner. Not having the dirty air. That is provisional pole position for the moment. A 30.3. Knocking Bühler off of the top. And Bühler's got to respond now. It's looking at the delta. It's not happening for the moment. They're not on the push lap. Maybe a cooldown lap. But yeah, this has finally gone Kraus's way. They've shown the pace. They've been dramatically unlucky so far in this season, so they'll be very, very happy if they do put it on pole. But it's not over yet. Many drivers out on track. Only 2 drivers, as you can see, in the pit lane. So everybody wanting to improve for the moment. And it looks like Kraus is on another push lap. Is he improving at the moment? He's about 10th of a second down for the moment, as Bühler has now started, I think, a push lap. So let's see if we can go on board with them, as it looks like I think they went wide there, just as I was saying. Yeah, they're a little bit down on their time. However, they do have a tow up the hill. No, Wellman not giving them a tow. That's understandable. They are championship rivals, so yeah, I wouldn't expect that as a wheel on the grass. That's never something that you want to do, as it's looking like this time is not happening. Maybe they're going to go for another lift lap. Let's see if they are flat out. Or this, yeah, this looks pretty pushy. Let's see if they are carrying the speed through there. At the moment, down on the delta by a couple of tenths of a second. But anything can happen. If you've had a bad last turn, we saw that with Kraus, you can gain 2 or 3 tenths of a second just in that last corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tough one. There would still be enough time for one final push lap as well for Bullet if he does need to use it. So that's definitely going to be in the back of his mind. If this lap isn't going to perfection, he might back off, repair the tyres and go for one final chance. And try and put that lap together, get the optimal time and snatch back that pole position from Kraus. Let's see if he is going to be finding any time. I don't think so. Looks like he is a couple seconds down now. ProtoH as well, looking to improve potentially, maybe finding a couple tenths of pace here, which would be enough to find him a few positions. Let's see what he can manage.
Yeah, Warren also doing very well in the first turn, but we'll go back to ProtoH. As I just noticed, Warren is on the start of their lap. This is looking like it could be an improvement. Losing a bit of time in the midsection of the lap, though, so it's going to have to be an electric, no pun intended, the last couple of turns, and yeah, it's not looking like it. The tire's sliding quite a bit, the car's sliding on entry, and that's scrubbing off speed for the moment. He's gained a bit of time back, though. Looks like there was a little bit of a mistake on the last run, so is it enough? Is it, a little bit wide through the last turn? That's not ideal, but will it be an improvement? Coming across the line for ProtoH? No, sadly not. How disappointing for them. Marino looks like they are up on their time as well by a couple of tenths of a second, as it looks like Warren as well. 2 drivers that we have to keep track of. Warren is going to cross the line first, so can Warren improve? This will probably be his last lap. He won't be able to cross the finish line before starting another lap, before the checker flag drops in 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, so close. But Warren is the first driver to cross the line and does not improve. I think he was so close to improving, but missed out by a couple of hundredths.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him. And Buller also did not finish another lap. He went back to the pit lane. So no improvement for him, no improvement for Marino after really unfortunate end to the lap there. Who is out there trying to improve? Kraus pushing hard. Can he find some pace to try and extend his margin up at the front of the field? Orally sits on provisional pole position by about a tenth and a half and pushing hard, looking to find even more.
Urbanovsky looking to improve as well. I think this might be an improvement from Urbanovsky across the line. It is, but only to P8. The time's quite well, and straight into well, that's one way to finish your qualifying session. I don't think he's very happy with that qualifying, put it that way. As we got ProtoH across the line as well. Is it going to? It's looking. Oh, it's very, very close actually to his delta. Well, no, it isn't. That's not how you do the last turn, would you believe? That's very unfortunate, as the wall decided that lap would not be an improvement right there. Some big crashes, by the way, in practice on the last turn, so we might see a few unexpected moments during the race, that's for sure. and Kraus parks it as well. He doesn't need to improve that lap. That is well done. So let's have a quick rundown of that leaderboard. Kraus on pole, Bühler second place, Serrani rounds out the top 3, Warren P4, Marino good improvement to P5, Prodan P6 dropping down from P4, Misberg not being able to find that ideal line on the track at the moment, maybe during the race. Urbanovsky improving to P8, but I think they'll be disappointed with that, to be honest. Miranda P9, Wellman P10, struggling with the car, I'd say. Savoya P11, joining last minute in the qualifying session, getting a medium starting position on the grid. Gebhardt P12, Crow P13, unlucky for some, but hopefully not for Crow. Bennett P14 after running P13 for quite a while. Chapman P15 getting bumped down just in the final couple of minutes. Eduardo and Andrade finish off the qualifying results. So you have quite a grids there and quite close times as we predicted, but the front two at the moment, at least in terms of qualifying simulations, are, well, out in their own world, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Once again, we see some dominant drivers in the qualifying session, but as we've seen in previous races, quali pace isn't everything. If you can really hook it up once you get into the race, manage your tires, manage the fuel slightly better, that can really make the difference. It can really give you an opportunity to try and actually hold on and try and potentially improve on your position. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one heading into the race, and I think we could be seeing more than just a two-car battle at the front.
Yeah, for sure. I think, quali pace is one thing, race pace is another, and we've seen that many times. I was just reading a little prompt that we have now at the top of the screen, saying that the rule, obviously we had a rule change after race 1, and now you have to do a mandatory pit stop. Just reminding that, just in case there's new viewers, which, we'd love to have you along, and we hope you're enjoying the qualifying at the moment, and now enjoying the race. We're about to start our formation lap, but the rule clarification now is you have to add at least 1 litre of fuel in your mandatory pit stop, which happens at, I think, 45 minutes, at 13 minutes of race time and 45 minutes of race time. So if you have to pit during that time, and if you don't, you get disqualified at 45 minutes. So yeah, you've got to really be sort of in the race in terms of strategy. You have to make sure that you're not messing that up. So either a tire change or adding fuel, but the point being is you have to make a pit stop. Just going to point out as well, there is a sale going on at the moment on the VRC store, so head to the link in the description if you want to check that out. And, lots of offers there, I think, on all stuff on the store, so cars, tracks, or indeed bundles, ranging between 10% and 15% off. So a great opportunity to grab yourself some of these wonderful sounding and driving cars, and indeed looking cars. They do look a treat. As I will switch back over to the game so that you can see the formation lap starting, and they're doing quite a quick formation lap, I must say, as Kraus looks like very keen to get underway. Going to point out as well, there's links to the social medias in the description as well if you want to follow all of the content that the lovely people at VRC make in terms of just driving laps, in terms of announcements of new content or previews, many artistic photos as well on their Instagram, for example. So yeah, give them all a follow. They definitely deserve it. We've had a wonderful time in this season, and I can't wait for another race for the finale to get underway, as Kraus will look to defend. As I'm noticing, Bühler has dropped down. I'm not exactly sure what's gone on there, but Bühler is down in P15. We'll hope to have a clarification on that one, but yeah, not ideal for Bühler. I think he's starting from the back, or has had a little bit of a problem and did not make the grid, but that is not ideal, as Bühler is actually going to struggle to catch the pack here to get started for the race. Anyway, the lights getting ready now, as not everybody is perfectly formed up as Warren leaving a little bit of a gap there, as you'll see the lights turn reds. They have to maintain the speed of 80 kilometers per hour, and then green light means go, go, go. And there we go. We are racing for the finale of VRC ProtoH Series as Kraus defends into turn 1, defends thin air really, as Warren and Rodan going side by side. In fact, Wellman getting a brilliant start up to P5 for the moment. There's a lot of overtakes happening here, as we've got Wellman just dropping back, not having that top speed, as Warren looking to overtake Rodan. The cadenza is going very good. Oh, a little bit of contact there, as it looks like Urbanovsky. Oh, we got a car upside down in the background, trying to find out who that is. But wow, what a disaster for Prodan as well. Prodan has spun. Incredible scenes, Josh, at the start of this race.
Yes, so much chaos on this opening lap. We thought it could be quite a chaotic start to this race, and
Bennett.
that has already played out. Bennett, yeah, really unfortunate for him, already playing out in full effect. So much chaos on this opening lap. I don't think that's the first time we've seen a car upside down. Urbanovsky running up in second, though. Warren looked to the inside just briefly, but Kraus is already 1.7 seconds clear at the front. A bit of a trolley train starting to form behind Urbanovsky, as all the cars very close as they follow their way through these high-speed corners, trying to keep up, trying to manage the pace, but trying to find a way through as well. Going to be tricky with the limited number of heavy braking zones around this track, and in the background there, a couple cars battling. Urbanovsky still hanging on, but Warren is right on the back of him.
Quite a few casualties then, with obviously Bühler not starting in position, maybe starting from the back, judging that he wants to fight through the field as Urbanovsky defends there. Oh, contact between two in the back. Misberg and Miranda getting all sorts of bad around the last turn. I think maybe a little bit of contact going into that turn, as we've had some casualties. Bennett, Andrade and Sorani really getting caught up, and I think they're already a lap down, sadly, so everything not going to plan for them, as yeah, the back Gebhard as well, and Krau having contact. Oh, that turn 1 has not worked out whatsoever here, as Krau and Prodhan falling behind at the moment. A very, very difficult start, as looks like Eduardo is about to get overtaken here on pure straight line speed alone. Is anybody going to lift? Oh, you don't want to go side by side. Oh yeah, Gebhard forced to just pull out of that turn, and Krau has overtaken. In fact, everybody going past Gebhard right now, as it looks like Bühler trying to get to the inside. The Peugeot working quite well on the high-speed turns, or defending the inside. No, it has to give it up, sadly. Bühler taking that position, and Savoia, and looks like Savoia's had a little bit of an incident, spun round. We don't really have the camera on them right now, but yeah, just absolute disaster for a lot of drivers here, as Misberg looking to have an attack on Miranda now. Miranda trying to go around the outside, is going to get pushed onto curb. Actually, no, they leave a lot of space there. Great to see respectful driving right now, as oh no, Miranda got caught on the curb, I think, and just traction trying to get the exit, and that has not worked out whatsoever.
Yeah, really unfortunate. As we now continue on, though, yeah, really, really chaotic. Kraus now 1.9 seconds clear up at the front of the field, continuing to extend his margin. Prodhan looking to fight his way back through. Got Buller right behind as well. And here we go down the straight towards this next braking zone. Can Buller find the position up the inside? Just about trying to squeeze his way through, although it doesn't quite look like he's got it done just yet. But on the exit, getting the power down slightly better. Buller now through up into 11th, which is crucially what he needs to secure the championship.
Yeah, Warren looking to have a go here on Misberg, I think, looking for it, trying to force a move, trying to force a mistake, but Warren nearly got it all the way over the curb there and nearly had a tank slapper, so that is very, very tricky, and overtaking here might be more about forcing the driver in front of you to make a mistake, as Krau looking to make a move on Eduardo, who's falling off of the back of Chapman, so gaps forming in the midfield here with various incidents. Oh, a lock up from Krau. Bühler senses a gap on the inside, but that door is slammed shut, and Prodhan looks to make a move around the outside, really going for a very late break, but yeah, Bühler's got the apex speed. The grip not available on the outside, at least for the moment. This midfield battle is heating up, as these guys are meant to be fighting at the front, and it looks like they're going for, oh, wow, what a mistake. Prodhan, I think, locking the rear tires. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but it just looked like the rear axle locked up completely, as if the engine had seized, but obviously not. He's still going. What a bizarre mistake.
More cars up at the front as well, going up. Buller!
Oh, contact, rejoin!
Contact. Oh, so unfortunate. Buller trying to get back onto the track, comes together with Prodhan, and that is big, big contact. for our championship leader, who continues once again tumbling back down the order. That is not what he would have been hoping for here tonight. Crucially for him though, Molman currently sitting nearly 5 seconds off the lead.
That was devastating. That was I will say, quite a bad rejoin. I'm not sure if he had visibility on the corner, but yeah, just driving straight back onto the racing line for our championship leader. Maybe not what you want to do when you have such a commanding lead in the championship, as Marino looking to overtake Wellman, who's got a wonderful start in that car, looking to do the business, as they say. But yeah, very, very tricky indeed for them to defend for the moment. Look at that, Ferranza all the way over the back, looking for an opportunity, forcing Wellman to go defensive, and it's working for the moment as they are dropping off the back of the front two leaders, as yeah, they're just battling with each other on such a long race. Maybe it might be an idea from Wellman to drop back and use the faster cars to maybe just get him back into contention for the lead. A reminder that Wellman needs to win this race, and Buller needs to pick up no more than 4 points, if my maths is correct, if I remember the standings correct. But yeah, basically Buller has to have a disastrous race, which he's currently having for the moment, and Wellman needs to win it. So he needs to get his skates on right now, and crucially he needs Marino to stop attacking him, or indeed to take the initiative and start leading him towards the front pack.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one here. Already the gap's very, very big with all the battling. Brown looking to try and make a move potentially here around the outside as he gets onto the brakes, doesn't quite have the grip, runs a bit wide, and that is not going to be helping him in his battle here. Either Marino and Mitchberg getting close as well to Molman up at the front. Those deltas dropping to nearly zero between the three drivers, and I think that could be a chance for Marino to get himself through into third place. It looks like he has managed to do just that, and here very nearly contact being made as they all battle away here, probably about 2 or 3 tenths of a second covering these 4 drivers as they continue to battle on. Molman managed to get back through once again, but lockups up ahead. They continue to battle Marino and Mitchberg wheel to wheel as they get back on the power once again. Down the hill, briefly back up through the right-hander. They continue running wheel to wheel, both trying to chase down Molman just up ahead, but they can't quite catch up just yet. The battling costing them time as well, and finally Mitchberg's just about pulling himself back ahead once again, and another lockup once again up ahead for Molman, and Mitchberg right onto the back again.
Well, this is peak entertainment. Oh, contact, no! Warren goes around Marino in the battles as well. Miranda nearly caught up there as well. No, Miranda gets away with it. But, oh, what terrible scenes. Just want to say hats off to the audience for requesting onboard cameras right for that scenes right there. Perfect timing. So hats off to you. As, yeah, we're going to go side by side with here. Mitchberg looking to go around the outside. I do have to switch to the off-board cameras to see who's going to get this. As yeah, just a little bit off track there as well, getting the exit. So it looks like Mitchberg up to P3 for the moment. Wellman is going to try. Oh, a little bit of contacts there, going through the flat out turns leading up the hill. Never want to do that, as it's going to be last of the late breakers. Who's got the steel willpower to brake late? Wellman defends, going aggressive over the curb, and the Ferranzas not looking like they're going very well over the curbs at the moment. So very, very tricky for them to get the overtakes done. And Wellman, what a masterclass in defense. Just terribly unlucky for Warren, I must say. Just getting caught out a little bit wide and then tagging with, I think it was Marino. So yeah, just unfortunate, but you know, it's racing. At some point, if you're racing 4 cars, it's so close. As you can see, the snaps of oversteer that they're getting already on the tires, a little bit reminiscent of Mexico. Yeah, they're just struggling out there for grip at the moment. As we can head back on board. Oh, Wellman mistake there just as we switch to the onboard. So Wellman having to go really defensive. Yep, indeed, Mitchberg to the inside, forcing them to go offline once again. This is going to force them to use not only more fuel, but use more of their tires, overheat them a little bit, or add tire wear. And so this is going to really hamper Wellman, who's now 7 seconds off of the lead too, and going ever so wide, but Mitchberg not being able to get the drive off of the corner. And yeah, so tricky again down into turn 1, side by side. It's looking okay. No, locks up. Incredible scenes. Wellman retakes P3, and indeed Marino up the inside as well. Franza, civil war at the moment, tagging again side by side, and it looks like Moran's actually saying, hey, if you guys are going to battle and take each other out, can I at least get a slipstream off of you? And here comes Miranda, don't go 3 wide please, as Meisberg takes P4, and yeah, I think Marino and Miranda have had to back out of that one. So the battle remains with Wellman just sitting at the front with popcorn at the moment, as the lead 2 are just going line astern, pulling away from the field at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Kraus and Urban also getting very close as well. I think they've got to about 0.2 of a second at one point on this past lap, so they could be getting a bit of a battle on very, very shortly. Urban Rossi looking to bounce back after a bit of bad luck he's had in these first few races, I'd say, looking to try and perform a Buller to the inside here. Prodhan going a bit wide after their little clash they had earlier on. Buller back ahead of Prodhan.
Yeah, these two have been battling and indeed tagging each other since the start of the race. They, Buller started from the back, Prodhan just had a bad contact with somebody, and that just means that they've gone to the back, but they're still battling as if it was for P1, so they're really hampering each other's race for the moment, as Wellman sadly has been overtaken by Meisberg. My apologies for not catching that one. I was intent on watching Buller there, so I saw the gap was very close. So what Meisberg needs to do, as Marino appears out of nowhere and disappears out of shot, so that's a bold way of taking turn 1, maybe not the fastest way, but yeah, Meisberg needs to just pull away as much as possible now, and it's looking that Wellman might have the defensive maneuvers but not the race pace in the car at the moment. But I want to remind people as well, there's different strategies at play, different fuel, and I know that Wellman loves to load the car with as much fuel as possible to have the shortest pit stop, so we have to wait and see whether that strategy is again going to happen. Another person that does that as well is Buller, so maybe their non-fighting through the pack at the moment is because of that. But yeah, I'm loving the onboards at the moment, actually, Josh. I think we're going to stick with the onboards because of the sound. Every single time I commentate this series, the sound is so good.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, really great stuff, and the racing we're seeing as well, really, really great as well. Moran closing in once again on Molman. The gap now 0.4 of a second as they power their way back through this left-hand, a really tricky one to get right. You build the power on towards the straight, and again, not the greatest of exits from Molman as they run through these tricky corners. Could still be an opportunity for some positions to be found, and further down as well. This battle happening here. Buller to the inside, I think, of squeezing his way through behind. Gets himself up to P11 now. That is another crucial move made, and Buller once again back within that championship victory position.
Yeah, this is incredible racing all throughout the field. Once again, we have a race where we have to try and stay on board with 3 different battles at a time, but on board with Buda at the moment, as I think Moran's actually, ironically, going for an overtake. Yeah, here we go. Who's going to be last? The late breakers are going side by side through the bus stop at the top of the hill there. Oh my days, what a defense from Wellman. That is incredible. I would have never predicted that. Once Miranda had the inside line for most of the corners, I would have expected that to be a done deal, but it's not happened. Oh, Kraus. I think Kraus might have made a mistake here, so an overtake for the lead. Finally, we can focus on the race leaders a little bit. So Kraus loses the lead to Urbanovsky. Urbanovsky, after such a disastrous qualifying, is now in the lead of this race. Could you have predicted that, Josh?
I mean, it's definitely surprising, and probably not what we were expecting heading into this one, but we did say race pace, quality pace, they are very different things, and being able to manage the fuel, manage the tyres, compared to just flat out pushing in the qualifying session, it's a very different thing. And of course, Urbanovsky could be running a different fuel plan with the strategy as well. Might be slightly lower on the fuel, gonna have to wait longer in the pit stop to stop back up to get to the end of the race, whereas Kraus might just be in for a quick splash and dash, heading out a lot faster, and that might be able to regain him the position that he's lost here. So it's going to be a tough one to call exactly what we're going to be seeing from all of the drivers, but as it stands, Urbanovsky looking to be pretty strong.
Oh, crowd disconnected from the session. That's a disappointment as they were making their way up the order. That is not going to happen anymore, sadly, as it looks like Urbanovsky is pulling a bit of a lead at the moment. I guess that's at least 2 car lengths just in this half a lap, as it looks like Miranda's going Wellman defends again. So once again, at the top of the hill, just not enough. Just missing maybe 50 to 100 meters at the top of the hill. I have no idea what that is in freedom units. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a European commentator after all. But yeah, Wellman doing the defense of a lifetime at the moment. I just want to point out as well that I've been unintentionally showing off how many camera angles we have as well on these cars to see all of the artistic shots for your videos, or indeed just for watching the racing unfold. As you can see, all of the little details that have been put into these cars. They're available on discount, by the way, just in case I hadn't mentioned it enough. As Wellman makes a little bit of lock-up, so I'll have to delay my marketing frenzy for the moment, as Wellman's going for all of the defensive action. But he's, you know, the switchback isn't happening for Miranda. There's just not enough time to use that extra exit speed to get it done. It's on this turn, this last turn, that you really need a good exit. And oh no, Wellman's gone wide here. This could be it. Everyone, watch out. Wellman's going to have to do a defensive masterclass right now, as Miranda to the inside, outside, sorry. Can he do the switch back? Looks like Wellman's got a goodish exit, but no. Miranda finally gets the inside line. This could be done and dusted up the hill. He's got better drive as well. It looks like that Sota does not have the top speed either. Wellman's going to just try and go around the outside, try and force a mistake, try and force them to have the most compromised line possible at the top of the hill. And Wellman, no way. Wellman around the outside. I cannot believe I've just seen that. Incredible scenes, incredible attacking driving, and the defensive was 10 out of 10. That is an 11 out of 10 overtake. I've never seen that before. That's outrageous.
Yeah, amazing stuff to make it stick through the chicane around the outside. Both, I think, behind as well. It wasn't like he was ahead heading in. I think he had to brake later and just launch the car around and hope and pray that it stuck, and it did. And that means he holds on to that P4 position for just a little bit longer. Of course, a long way off the lead where he would hope to be. Currently held by Urbanovsky. But he's still defending very, very strong here for this P4 position, looking to well and truly secure a top 2 position in this championship.
Tell you what, Warren has a beautiful perspective right now of this battle. Look at that. You want to pull out your popcorn at the moment. Warren having a little bit of a battle and a little bit of problems at the start of the race. So qualified really well, ironically. Oh, Wellman's gone a little bit wide again. Same mistake, but this time Miranda decides to go to the inside. It's going to be a braking competition. And Wellman going to go round the outside, trying to get the better exit. Does get the traction out of the corner, but Miranda's still there on the inside. They're going to have to compromise their line. Warren might get a very good launch up the hill. Miranda leaving so much room there, just fearing contact, I think, as yeah, Miranda's not close enough to attack. But here comes Warren with that V8 power up the hill. Not enough. Lifts off, lift and coast, just saving energy for the moment, realizing the futility of trying to go for that move, and yeah, getting all of kinds of dirt on their tires, taking those lines. They're pushing the limits right here, as at the front Urbanovsky pulls out a 1.8 second gap on Kraus, as it looks like Bühler not really making any inroads at the moment. He's kind of stuck in P12, not in contact with the driver in front, but not being under pressure for the driver behind. So a very odd race for the moment. Is he cruising just to secure points? I wouldn't expect so after qualifying on pole.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite surprising as well. Of course, just a few moments ago, he managed to get up into that P11 position. Now he's 4 seconds off the back of P11, so I'm not sure if he's had a bit of a mistake out there somewhere, or what exactly has happened for him. But, oh, up at the front, up and I'm not sure if there was a mistake there, or if that was just a little mistake with the timing tower. Nonetheless, they are still pretty close together on the track, and of course, talking of close together, it's round 2. Mollman and Moran continuing their battle. Only a couple tenths separating them as they continue to press on. Another great exit from Mollman. Here comes Moran heading up the hill. Look for a brief moment to the inside. Didn't quite get the move, but maybe he can try something very similar to what we saw from Mollman just a few moments ago, heading down towards the chicane, now looking to the outside line. Does he have the confidence? Does he have the bravery to try and stick it? Let's see. Can he do it? No. Backing out this time around, and a big mistake there. Small contact made.
Oh, no.
And that is going to have big consequences, especially for Warren, who ends up in the barriers. And that is a big mistake, all stemming from a small error there from Morand as they tried to stick it around. Didn't quite work out, and Warren just kept getting caught in the crossfire. What a disaster.
Yeah, that was looking up to be such a good overtake, and then I think just Morand made a little mistake there on the first curb, and I think Warren just got a little bit spooked by that and tried to make the avoidance, essentially, and yeah, it looks like they just spun around. Whether there was contact or not, difficult to tell from the onboard. There wasn't really a bump there, just a spinning out of control, which is never what you want to do on any racing game or in any car whatsoever, but yeah, it's so disappointing. However, they are still in contact there. You know, there's only 2.8 seconds lost, so it's not a disaster. No positions lost. Chapman will be rubbing his hands together a little bit, saying, hey, I'm coming into the battle with this one. If they keep battling like this, there might be an opportunity to get something done. Meanwhile, Meisberg in P3 is closing in on the leaders a little bit. 6 seconds now, the gap. So the pace in the Franza is there this time. This could be really interesting as we approach the start of our pit window as well.
I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the drivers do with their strategy. Who has got the extra fuel in to try and go to the end? Who has gone a bit under fuel to try and give themselves some pace in the early stints? That's definitely going to be interesting, especially with how close some of these battles have been. Buller has been closing in as well. He's now only about a second off Marino, and Eduardo battling with that P9 position as well. And Morand slowly but surely getting closer and closer once again. Marino and Eduardo swap positions. They are having a nice battle further behind for those lower points positions. Surely it's just a matter of time before we see that move from Morand, who's getting closer once again, looking to the outside line but can't find a way through.
Yeah, this battle still rages on. I think we can still call this round one, right? It never ended, really. As Wellman looks to not have the pace at the moment in the car or in the setup. As wow, that's a very big defense into the penultimate corner. Morand around the outside, no way. Morand has gone around the outside. Wellman defends to the outside, though. This is ridiculous. Come on, lads. Just give it up at some point. This is way too much racing for the first 20 minutes of a race. Ridiculous stuff. I think this has got to be the best battle we've had the entire series, and that says something when you see the battles we've had in the first 3 rounds. This one just keeps on giving as Morand looks to have the pace, but Wellman is just pulling off a defensive masterclass at the moment, and just when we thought it was done, no way, it's Morand going to pull off what Wellman did around the outside. Yes, Morand and has got it wrong. Can Wellman capitalize? No, just about. Oh, a little snap of oversteer. So Morand does indeed get the position. Can he pull away? Can Wellman do anything to respond? Let's have a look on. Oh, Wellman to the inside. No way. Oh, that was really late. Late and a dollar short, I think, is the expression for that. But yeah, unfortunately, looks like Morand has the pace for the moment. We'll have to wait and see. As up the hill, as long as you can stay close to the car in front, you can indeed get a great slipstream. But you can see the car just pulling away. Not enough power for Wellman for the moment. And in the corners, you can only really keep up with that dirty air effect, hampering you a little bit. And I think Wellman's just taking different lines to combat that. As yeah, Morand's taking an incredibly aggressive line to try and get exit speed. So I think Morand is very cautious right now as to what Wellman's intentions are. And what is it with the front cars going wide in the last turn? It seems to be the defensive maneuver, but it has worked as Morand was able to carry a lot of exit speed there. But it's all about this turn 1. Morand locks up, and that gives Wellman the opportunity to get a good exit, and he's bottled the exit, sadly, which means that Morand is going to have a much better speed up the hill. Can he use anything in terms of the battery or the boost? It might be time to swap on board with Warren here to watch this all unfold. Can Warren get in on the action right now as Morand has now gone a full lap ahead of Wellman. Is it battle over? I don't think so just yet, because once you're stuck behind the driver, you kind of get into their habit of driving, and then when you overtake them, sometimes you can make a mistake just because you're not used to your reference point anymore, as Wellman is deciding to put flat spots on the tyres. A bold strategy, maybe not the correct one for prolonging your stint, especially if you have a lot of fuel. But from Wellman, this is becoming more of a defensive game now as Warren closes in.
Yeah, really unfortunate stuff. But Wellman, of course, hoping that he can fight up there to try and get in contention. Maybe he is a bit more fuel than the rest of the cars. That could explain slightly the lack of straight line speed, and also cornering ability as well in his car. But I mean, I guess it will all unfold once those pit stops are made, and the pit window will be opening in a couple of minutes time, so that will give us a very exciting element to play out in this race. Is Warren going to be close enough this time around? I do not think so. Going to have to continue sitting behind and just wait for that opportunity to come.
And I was just about to comment on battle developing, and Eduardo, after trying to put a move, I think, on Buller, has gone for a little bit of a spin. The battle was heating up. I was just about to switch over to them, and yeah, it's not going well. Oh, a little bit of bump drafting going on. Hey, this is NASCAR. I didn't realise that. Maybe that's a future series. We'll never find out. But yeah, that is very, very tricky over the curves now. Both drivers getting a little bit out of sorts, out of shape. As oh, Wellman, big mistake from Wellman. That could be defining. Wellman into the barrier there. Incredibly disappointing. Just getting it all wrong over the curb and losing the traction again, losing positions. It's all going down the drain. Chapman overtakes. Prodan looking to go for the overtake as well. The tires will be absolutely cooked after that as well. After such a valiant defense, such a valiant drive to keep this car in contention, it has all gone down the drain for the moment, and maybe that will urge an early pit stop, as we're about 1 minute away from the pit stop sessions opening. Yeah, that is devastating, and I feel for them so much, as maybe they're overdriving the limit of the car, and the car and tires just had enough at some point. But valiant defense, got to give him credit, and putting it all on the line when the championship is still open mathematically. You know, they're really trying to make the most of it, as looks actually like Wellman's got the pace over Chapman, ironically, so we could see another overtake here. But Prodan looks like they're going to try as well and shape up a move, as that cadenza is slick in a straight line, as Wellman locks up in sympathy for Chapman, and through goes Prodan on Wellman then.
Unfortunate things seem to be really unfolded now after that small mistake from Wellman. Didn't quite have the pace at the start as well to keep up with the likes of Urbanovsky and Kraus, and just slowly dropping away as the stint has gone on. It's really unfortunate, and once again trying it around the outside with Wellman, but not able to find that grip, the pace advantage to find the way to move on Prodan there. Unfortunately, Kraus has closed back in once again on Urbanovsky. The pit window is now open as well, and we await to see who will be making their way to the pit lane first, and who will be making those pit stops, who needs to pick up that extra fuel here up at the front of the field as well.
Yeah, this race has given us so much, and pit lane is now open, as you said, and this is going to be so unpredictable, as we've got a move going on. Chapman, oh no, Chapman's tagged the back of Prodan, who's gone all the way round into the barrier. Disastrous stuff, as yeah, that is just so devastating. They've lost the position to Wellman as well, so Wellman will be saying thank you ever so much, as they may be going in for an early pit stop, as the battle with Kraus and Urbanovsky. Oh, Urbanovsky just carrying the speed around the outside. These two are really a class act at the moment in terms of pace, but they are making it difficult now, as Meisberg is now within 6 seconds, now closing in on 5 seconds of them, so they're adding more jeopardy into their race as the pit lane is open. So now the strategies can come into effect. Will they decide to pit to try and separate themselves and try and get an undercut or overcut? What do you think, Josh?
Well, I mean, pitting a bit early using that pace that they have could definitely be an option, but of course, if they do need to refuel, they're going to be filling up on fuel. That could cost them some pace with the extra weight added to the car. Is Urbanovsky going very wide there, taking a bit of a different line, I'm not sure whether that was a mistake or that's just the line he's decided he wants to take through that corner. But nonetheless, they continue on as it was. Kraus still just trailing behind Buller and Marino, both coming into the pit lane here on this lap.
Yeah, indeed. Early pit stops, Buller. I did expect that one. Marino, not much. Oh, Urbanovsky in the pits. Yeah, Urbanovsky pits, which frees Kraus to go full flat-out push now, as it looks like Wellman going for an overtake as well on Chapman. Wellman up the inside. Can Chapman defend? Chapman round the outside for the moment, as yeah, looks like just two different lines. Hopefully they don't tag each other. Wellman just trying to carry the speed. Oh no, Wellman onto the grass. Don't spin again. Wellman just not being able to carry the speed there, sadly. Chapman, good defending though, must be said, as I think Wellman is Wellman's a little bit frustrated at the moment. Will we see them dive into the pits? Not for the moment. They carry on. I think they're going long. Wellman, I think they are going on a long strategy. The tires seem to be holding up despite the previous mistakes, and Wellman needs to get past Chapman. I think the pace difference, sadly, for Chapman is not in their favour. So they can put up a defence, but it will only last for a certain number of laps. Chapman, though, going very, very well, must be said, keeping himself out of the problems for the moment, and showing that the consistency and pace is there to fight in the midfield. So that is very, very encouraging stuff, as we have Eduardo disconnected from the session. I think just deciding that enough torment from mistakes is there's a limit in one day, basically, is what I'm meaning to say, and they've decided that limit has been hit, sadly, as yes, Wellman looking to do all of the maneuvers to try and get out of that dirty air, running a lot of speed onto the apex, but Chapman is getting the better exits from the corner. So it all depends on how much battery they've got, how their tires are doing, how much fuel they've got, whether they're saving fuel. That's the beauty of endurance racing. There's so much on the table that you can play with to either get an advantage or play against the weakness of drivers. You can see in the background, Bodan is still there, just lapping consistently, waiting for these two to make a mistake or come to blows, as Mullen's still looking for that line. Oh, they're close this time. This could be the one. Let's go on board with Wellman as I tried to find the right button. There it is. As yeah, look at that. I think deploying quite a bit of energy from Chapman there, and locking up in sympathy, just managing to carry it over the curb. But that's car length that they won't get back up the top of the hill. Probably not close enough, but putting Chapman under considerable pressure going into this pit stop phase.
Yeah, I'm just looking as well. Urbanovsky and Mitchberg, the gap between them before the pit stops is about 5 seconds, now 10 seconds. So I'm not sure whether Mitchberg hits a traffic or a big mistake there from Chapman. That could be the chance the Mulman needs. Looking for the switch back on the exit. Mulman back through to 4th. That is a crucial move there for Lucas Mulman. But I think Urbanovsky was running his car pretty heavy on the fuel, didn't have to refuel as much. So that could be an interesting thing to play out once we do get to the end of the race. And it'll be interesting to see where Kraus comes out in all of this as well. Whether he can manage to pull the overcut off to take the race lead, or whether the undercut is going to work out for Urbanovsky. Urbanovsky starting to catch up to some traffic. 2 seconds to Prohan, 4 seconds to Chapman, and an extra second to Mulman. So yeah, quite a few cars battling ahead. He's going to have to be fighting his way through very, very soon. 10 minutes left of the pit window until they'll have to make their pit stops.
Yeah, there's a lot of jeopardy right now, as you said quite correctly. I don't like to call them traffic, because we've been having a very good vision of their battle the entire race, but it is true. Chapman, Prodan and Melman are effectively a pit stop down nearly from the leaders. So for their championship contention, it looks like all Buller has to do is get to the end in their position at the moment. But as we know in these races, everything can change, and you know, it all comes down to what your thinking was and how the race has panned out. Because if you feel yourself long and you have a good start to the race, it can be much better than fielding yourself short and getting caught up in some battling at the front. So it'd be interesting to see, as Warren is very close to the back of Mirand. Will we see an overtake here in the podium positions, but yet to pit, as Kraus just extends the stint at the moment? Oh, Warren on the grass again. A lot of people putting a wheel on the grass and losing time and positions. It's one of those old school tracks, like we were saying just before the race, that you know, you have to kind of respect. It's got grass on the exits, and you know, you can't afford to dip a wheel onto them. Even the curbs are quite aggressive here, where they can unsettle the car, and we've seen that many times during the race already, especially when going for overtakes. Warren was oh so lucky there. I think a wheel on the grass, but managed to collect it. As it looks like Warren does have the pace, running really well this race, it must be said. Quite consistent, one mistake during the race and getting tagged once as well, sadly. But they are making amends for it. And I think the tag was with Miranda, or was it Marino? It might be Marino, actually, the battle earlier on. But yeah, he's making this car work for the moment as they go up the hill. And this cadenza really has some guts in the engine, doesn't it? Not only the sound of the engine, but also the horsepower. It's closing in visually at the top of the hill. And yeah, hops over the curbs decently as well. Obviously, you know, fixed setups for our drivers, so no setup shenanigans. They're all driving the same spec of car, so they have to make the difference in the driving. But yeah, Warren certainly much more up to speed with the car this week, and he's making it look extremely easy at the moment as he closes into Mirand for the moment. Interestingly, Urbanovsky is not exactly demonstrating great pace, closing in on Chapman at the moment. It looks like maybe Prodan's made a mistake or a pit stop. I think Prodan was in the pits, because otherwise that's quite a bit of time lost. So yeah, some interesting developments happening here. Not exactly catching everything from the comms box because so much is going on simultaneously.
Prodan was in the pit lane just a few moments ago. Warren getting really close and looks to the outside, swooping his way around. Yeah, that could be the explanation, and it is. So pit stop coming for Moran, get the car slowed down, make your way through. Only about 4 more laps left for the drivers to make their pit stops as well, so they are going to have to start thinking about it very, very soon. But Kraus going very long on this first stint, trying to hang it out up at the front of the field. Let's see where he'll be coming out once he makes his pit stop. Urbanovsky currently sitting, what's that, about 40 seconds I'd say behind our leader. So it's going to be a big gap, and whether Kraus will be able to hold on up at the front, or whether that's enough for Urbanovsky to sneak back through, I think that's going to be a very, very telling matter as well. Will really give us an idea as to how much fuel the drivers were running earlier on.
Yeah, just want to say, Mollman still carrying on in P3. It's been an incredible first stint for both him and Chapman, carrying quite a lot of fuel, it seems. But here's the problem. Urbanovsky thought about it, but that gap was always going to close. That was a very risky one to take, and they're not all Chapman closing the door. Chapman's decided to defend this one. He's got all right to do so, really. Although that will be very frustrating for Urbanovsky, that's for sure. As yeah, a little bit of a lockup is there. The difficulty is now is that Urbanovsky has more fuel on board, and so even with fresher tires, it can mean an overtake is difficult with the braking zone, as it looks like Urbanovsky up the inside now, so that move will probably stick on Chapman. Let's see, yeah, Chapman having to yield that position, but crucially some seconds being lost there, and I was about to talk about it, but they kind of battled before I got onto the subject. But that can be so difficult when you pitted and you've got more fuel on board and you can't get the overtake done because of the dirty air. Chat has indeed mentioned it as well. The dirty air does have an effect, as Chapman, to add a little bit of insult to injury to Urbanovsky, just decides, hey, I'd love to go into the pit lane as well, as Warren is in the pits also. So Meisberg clears both drivers with no battling required. So that closes the gap to 6.8 seconds now, as it's getting very close for Kraus and Mollman. I know they know the rules, but do they really want to risk it so much? I mean, if they've got fuel on board, it would make sense, but the tyres might be giving up as well a little bit for the moment, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it can be tremendously difficult in the dirty air to get that overtake done with more fuel on board, especially as you can't brake as late because you've got more weight in the car. So a lot of strategy, a lot of things to think about, and not necessarily much practice time for our drivers to figure out the best strategy. So a lot of people winging it today. Looks like Urbanovsky will retake the lead once Kraus pits, and Kraus has gone past the pit lane another time, so probably well, 2 laps, but realistically you want to pit this lap to make sure that you don't get disqualified, right?
Right, it's a 1 minute 33 lap, so he'll probably get around at about 2 minutes. I would not be taking that risk, given it's the gap that we have is about 40 seconds. If you do then come in to go around for another lap, you're probably looking at about 30 seconds to make that pit stop with a 40-second gap. That doesn't seem like it would be enough, so I think Kraus is going to have to come in at the end of the next lap and cede the position, make that pit stop. Battling here still Buller, just about hanging on in that P10 position, fighting away with all these guys in the midfield. Yeah, looking to be having some pretty decent fun out there, although he's had some big offs earlier on in the race. He is having some nice battles, making his way back through as well. And gonna be, I expect, hit in very soon for Kraus.
Oh, this is no way. Oh, we've got a lapped car. Oh, sorry to interrupt, Josh, but that's a lapped car. Serrani going for an overtake on Marino. That's going to be really annoying for Marino right there. It looks like Serrani's got the pace. They're a very quick driver in previous rounds, but my days, just dropped them off the back of Buller there. He's looking, the crash there for Savoia. Oh no, going into the path of, Marino nearly collecting it there. That was so close. Good avoiding action from Marino, but that's added even more insult to injury now as they've dropped all the way off the back of Buller, but Buller just pressuring another driver into a mistake there as we have had Savoia in the pit, so dropping the positions there. That is why the whole leaderboard went reds there. They've effectively, sadly, dropped a lap, I presume, because of that, but yeah, not the greatest of scenarios, that's for sure, as looks like Marino's dropping more time here as Meisberg all the way on the back at the back of Wellman. So hang on a minute, whoa. Wellman's got to pit. Yeah, Wellman's in the pits. Thank God for that. I was thinking, whoa, Wellman pits. That was cutting it very short there. But let's see where he comes out. I think Kraus has indeed now pitted and has actually emerged in the lead. So they must have had a tremendous amount of fuel on board. Now, we have heard this in the past, haven't we, Josh? That some drivers have not pitted for fuel. They have fueled the car for the entire race from the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. I think, if I remember correctly, you said earlier that they had to put at least a litre of fuel in at the pit stop.
Yes.
But that's not going to be costing you as much time as a full refuel for the stint would be costing you.
From what I read just to interrupt, from what I read in regulations or what I remember reading, it was either 1 litre of fuel or change tyres. So they don't statistically have to put any fuel on board, which is an interesting tactical decision to be made.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what's actually gone on, hear what's gone on from the drivers. But yeah, I think that is definitely advantage going the way of Kraus. Of course, Urbanovsky might have slightly warmer tyres right now with the pit stop that has just been made. But 8 seconds is a big margin to close in just 30 minutes of racing. It's definitely going to be a tough one. And yeah, I'm not sure whether Urbanovsky will be able to pull this one back to try and secure the win here.
Yeah, I was just about to check whether everybody made their pit stops. It's academic now, because if they haven't, they'd be disqualified. But my timing app is currently not displaying any data, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. But I do not have access to the data. It's funny, this happened to me in Formula 1 as well, so who would, just jinxed at this point from the commentator's perspective. So yes, I'd love to give you the data on the pit stops or indeed on fuel taken on board, but not going to happen for the moment, as it looks like Urbanovsky is actually losing a bit of time here. So has Kraus pulled off a masterclass for the moment? But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's a long old race, and you've just got to sort of stick around and find out how it works out at the end. We've had so many races, in fact all 3 if I remember correctly, where the field is just condensed at the end to make this grandstand finish, and you don't see it coming. Like for the last 20 minutes you think, oh, everything's done and dusted now, and then all of a sudden the strategies sort of merge together and everybody starts lifting and coasting, trying to save fuel or trying to save tires or trying to make the overtakes done. For example, Buller making their way up the fields there, and there's so many things still to go in this race, and I can almost guarantee you that the positions will not look like this at the end.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. But ultimately, it's going to come down to how well they can manage. Mishberg's gained about a second, I think, on Urbanovsky on the past lap. So he is finding some decent pace out there as well. Buller currently running in P8. Whether he will find some more positions as well, he's definitely had the pace. Whether he has the consistency to put all the laps together and find some more positions, only about 2.5 seconds off the back of Chapman, so could be looking for a battle very, very soon. But yeah, ultimately looking to be, well, maybe not the perfect recovery drive that Buller was looking for, but still should be some decent points, and assuming nothing absolutely crazy happens involving the top 5 all being taken out, and as well as Buller, I think it is championship very much secured for the French driver.
For the moment, famous last words, commentator curse, looking to rear its head once again. Now, ironically for Buller, they will be catching ahead of them. They got Chapman, who looks like they're battling with maybe with Androids there ahead, trying to get the overtake done. But ahead of that is Wellman. So the two championship rivals will at some point, I think, come into contact, because sadly from Wellman it looks like they just don't have the pace to run with the front runners after they've been overtaken. That was well known. You know, he's been talking about how the car that he's chosen doesn't necessarily have the best performance, but he went with the quirky pick, and for that I respect Wellman's choice. But we're locked up by Chapman there. I think that was nearly Android going into the back. Yeah, Android gets out of the way. Or is that Android? I'm second guessing myself now. Let's check. Is it Android? Yes, it is Android. I was correct. I shouldn't second guess myself on the commentary box, but there you go. As Buller looks to overtake Chapman now. Chapman was having good pace before, but now with more fuel on the car, it's looking like it's a much more desperate defense at the moment, as Buller is looking for the earliest possible occasion to get past, as I think Buller wants to do the overtake on track with Molman.
See what's going to happen here, heading into this next corner. Buller getting closer and closer. The gap now just 1/10 of a second, and with the slipstream pulling himself alongside, and Buller looking to find himself through up into that 7th place position, locking up there from Chapman on the outside, and Buller goes through. Crucial move, and yeah, what an overtake from him up into that P7 position, and Chapman having to fight away there with one of the lap cars as well. Not ideal stuff, especially if he wants to try and continue his battle with Buller to the end of this race.
I think that's Serrani again. Let's have a look. Is that Serrani? It is indeed. Yes, it is indeed Serrani. Just getting involved in the mix there, just complicating matters a lap down. I've got to hand it to him. He's caused chaos in this race, and it's perfectly legal to do so. But hampering your teammates like that, maybe getting a stiff word in the pit box at the end of the race. That's for sure. As Buller looks to close in that 7.7 gap now to Molman, as at the front it's looking a little bit spicy, as Miranda's just dropped off the back of Prodan, who's looking to chase down a podium here. They were briefly in a podium position before making a mistake at the start of the race, with Meisberg closing in drastically now on Urbanovsky. The gap just now flashing below 5 seconds, and just hovering around 5 seconds now. So this gap is closing and closing fast, and that car looks on rails at the moment. So can Urbanovsky defend? Will Kraus have any problems with the tires? This race has many questions still yet unanswered.
Yes, sorry about that. Yeah, Mishberg, let's see what he's doing here. 5 seconds off the back of Urbanovsky, looking to try and gain some pace further forward. Marino still as well. 9/10 of a second, the gap to Warren to try and get himself into that top 10. Whether he's going to be able to close that gap, I mean, it's looking pretty strong. Although big mistake there from Warren up ahead as well. Marino does go through. No, he doesn't actually. Never mind the car. Warren rejoining just about ahead, heading up the hill now through the S's, trying to stick with it. A tenth of a second separating the two cars. They run wheel to wheel down towards the chicane. Marino trying to squeeze his way up the inside. Does he have the move secured? Heading in towards the chicane. Warren just about holding on to that one, although over the curbs the car getting a bit unsettled, and that does not help him as they head now through turn number 5, trying to hang on to this just about. But Warren's starting to make some mistakes, and that could prove costly later on.
That was just tense stuff, as I think Warren trying to recreate Kimi Raikkonen in 2008 at Spa, just going all the way onto the emergency exit and getting the worldy exit to overtake 2 or 3 cars. But just working for defense at the moment, but it's only a matter of time at the moment, it looks like, as Marino has been the faster driver of the two throughout the race and is looking more stable with just car control at the moment. Warren has been all over the place, and you got to give, oh well, just as I say that, nearly commentators curse Marino there. Maybe the, and in the background as well, I think that was maybe Andre's getting a little bit unlucky there with the turn in of the car, nearly clipping the wall. So yeah, everything kicking off at the moment, as Meisberg has made a tiny bit of a mistake, I think, and has dropped back to 5.5 seconds. So that gap simmering down a little bit. And surprisingly, I just want to say this by the timing, Buller is not really closing in on Molman. I'm not sure if that's the case. They just want to bring it home at this stage with 22 minutes remaining. It's a little bit early for that, I think, but they're not making the inroads. So yeah, Molman's dropping off the back of Morand, but yeah, the gap isn't really shrinking behind either. So a little bit of an interesting one right there as Marino all the way over the curb trying to catch Warren. I think Marino had the chance to overtake Warren there and has kind of missed it. Oh, well, Warren on the grass is into the barrier. That is an unforced error and spinning out as well. Disaster for Warren. Not onto the racing line, not again. Oi, 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 oi. Is that the race leader that just went past? I think that is the race we nearly had for the 3rd race this season, somebody taking out either the race leader or the 2nd place person during a race. That was very, very close for Warren, and thankfully Kraus avoided that, but the heart rate will be going a little bit faster in that lead car now.
Yeah, definitely a close call for Kraus. Fortunately, no more shenanigans. I mean, there's still, of course, 20 minutes left to go in this race where we could still see something spectacular happening here up at the front of the field. But as it stands, Urbanovsky 12 seconds back. Seems to be a pretty academic result. For Kraus, shouldn't be too much left to challenge him. Apart from his own mistakes, really, I'd say. And yeah, really great drive from him to make it 4 different winners, as well, at least we expect to see that. So yeah, gonna be interesting at least to see if anybody can try anything in these final 20 minutes to try and close that gap. I mean, Mishberg still keeping the gap to Urbanovsky pretty consistent as well. Could still be in with a shot at the P2 potentially.
Yeah, just quite a few lockups there. Saw one there just while switching to them on camera, and it's just not going their way at the moment. They just don't seem to have the grip in the front end of the car. I've seen a lot of understeering this race, to be honest. We had a lot of oversteer in Mexico, and now the balance has seemingly changed. Maybe the front tires just really taking a hammering around here. In qualifying, it looked like the rear tires were taking a hammering, but maybe the weight distribution or the driving style required of these cars on race trim is a little bit different, as we're seeing at the moment the gaps are not stabilizing, but drivers are just closing in a little bit, and so we got to wait a few laps for the close action to resume, as we've got Buller finally closing in on Molman as well. That was anticipated, and we could have a battle indeed at the end of the race. Morand closing in on Prodan as well for 4th place. Won't be a podium for the moment, although with drivers making mistakes left, right and centre, anything can happen. Kraus has lost about 3 seconds to Urbanovsky with all of those. Oh no, Urbanovsky's made a mistake. Urbanovsky has made some sort of... No, just timing. I can't believe it. I've been duped by the timer. I saw the timer going up drastically to 18 seconds. I thought something was amiss. Just happens to be the timing on that last corner. Got a little bit jagged there as it's happening for Polan as well, I think. As, yes, you can see that gap coming back now. So, yeah, timing trolling us once again, and might be the same issue that's hampering my live timing that I have in the background here as well.
Yeah, but anyway, the race continues on. Urbanovsky still holding on strong for that second place position. Whether he'll be able to hang on all the way to the end is going to be an entirely separate story. We've seen how many drivers have been making mistakes here. One slight run wide here onto the grass could spell disaster. And yeah, you've got to be careful, make sure you're pushing as hard as you can to make sure you aren't losing time to the cars behind. But also you've got to make sure that you're keeping it far enough within the limits that you know you're going to be safe. You know that you're not risking a spin, because a spin could be losing you 10 seconds potentially, whereas maybe running slightly off the limit might only lose you a couple of tenths per lap, which to the end of this race might not be as much as that spin will end up costing you. So it's definitely going to be balancing out now. Maybe you just kind of tone it down a little bit until those final few laps when you really start attacking. And just try and bring the car home.
Talking about bringing the car home, there is the visual gap between our championship protagonists, so they are probably going to go hammer and tongs at each other in the next few laps, as Bühler looks to be really on board with his car at the moment, just hammering in the laps as he did last race as well. And yeah, this has everything written on it where this could come to blows before the championship is over indeed. Just want to say also, if you are indeed liking the video, the racing, or indeed have enjoyed any part of the championship so far, which to be fair, you should, because the racing has been incredible in my opinion anyway, you should give a like and indeed subscribe to the YouTube channel here on the VRC. The lovely people at VRC will have more content throughout the year as well, more updates, and indeed perhaps new additions to the roster of cars and indeed of tracks on their website, link in the description. And indeed also there is a sale going on once again, as I repeated earlier during the race, of 10 to 15% off car and track bundles and indeed individual cars and individual tracks. So have a look at that in the links in the description of the video. You might find something that takes your fancy. If you like the sound of these cars, for example, I know because I've already picked them up because of that. So yeah, you'll have your individual excuse for picking them up, but I can guarantee you there's lots of good excuses for that. I can give you some if you need them. Type them in chat if you need an excuse. Anyway, moving on with the race. Here we go, Wellman making a few mistakes, and looks like Bühler is closing in quite drastically now. The gap has closed basically 3 seconds in 1.5 laps, so this could need a defensive masterclass for the moment. And yeah, it's looking like writing's on the cards, but does Bühler have the straight line speeds to get an easy move done, or will it be one of those things where Wellman has the defensive masterclass and could just put their car in the optimal position to just make sure that Bühler's car is always out of shape a little bit, that they're not taking the best racing line and putting themselves in jeopardy? Because basically Wellman needs to make Bühler make a mistake for them to have any shot at the championship for the moment. So this is all or nothing now for Wellman, and everything to lose for Bühler.
Yeah, I mean it's quite an outside shot at this point, with Wellman a long way off that race victory. What's the gap? That probably upwards of 50 seconds, maybe even getting onwards towards a minute now. I think it's very much just going to be a battle on the track here between these two. I think the championship is almost completely off the cards at this point. But Wellman definitely going to want to fight this one out, try and hang on to the positions and secure at least the second place in the championship. I'm not sure exactly what the gaps are to the cars behind. But there could potentially be a chance maybe of Kraus or Urbanovsky maybe sneaking their way through up into that second place position. So it's going to be crucial for Wellman to hang on to as many points as possible in these final few laps.
Yeah, 14 minutes left on the clock for the moment as both drivers sliding into that corner out, breaking themselves in sympathy of each other at the moment as Moment goes deep. That's going to allow Buller to close up drastically in the last two turns here. Can Buller just shape up a move as Moment carrying the apex speed? We've seen him do this every single time in the race and it's worked well so far, but will it work against the championship leader, the man who has shown to be so good at overtakes so far in this entire championship? And yeah, Wellman defending thin air there. Yeah, he's done the Fisichella, he's defended thin air, and through goes Buller. And Wellman's going to have to do something in response as they've lost track position. Actually, they're going side by side, aren't they? They are, they're side by side, and I think that Wellman's deploying battery maybe to defend here. He's realistically got the better line into the top of the hill. Yeah, indeed. Buller is forced to back out of that one, but that was dramatic there as Wellman just getting themselves in under a little bit of pressure, defending thin air, and that allowed Buller to get up the inside. I actually have no idea how Wellman actually managed to find the speed and traction to defend that, but once again we're seeing a defensive masterclass at the moment as Serrani in the background is looking to hamper another battle, it seems like.
Yeah, these two have had their history, of course, fighting out on track in the second round back in Road Atlanta. That time it was for the victory. This time around, it's for the P6 position. But Moment came out on top that day, assisted by some lap traffic, potentially. But is there a chance he can hang on here at Watkins Glen? Still just about holding on to those positions, but with 12 minutes left to go, it's a long, long battle ahead. Buller seems to have the pace at this current moment. Let's see what he can do this time around.
Yeah, very strange lines from Wellman. I think he's just anticipating that Buller's going for an attack every single corner. But the problem is with that is that you don't get the exit speed. Look at Buller doing the switchback every single time. He's able to get alongside, if not ahead, going up the hill. And that's not going to help as... I definitely say the Peugeot just has a tiny bit more straight line speed. We'll have to wait and see here, as it looks like actually they're evenly matched. Who's going to be last of late breakers? Once again, Buller forced to back out, and I think Wellman knows that Buller has no choice but to back out and not risk the DNF, even though the championship really wouldn't be affected at the moment. Buller forcing Wellman to go right to the inside. They might have be able to get all the way down the inside. That is an incredible move they do. The switchback forcing to the outside. Now, can they get the drive on the dirty line around the outside? No, but they can get the switchback. Once again, Wellman with a good exit though has defended once again, and here comes Serrani to chuck a move on both these drivers. Buller getting a little bit frustrated, I think, behind it. Oh, Serrani up the inside. Does he tag Buller? No, but my days, that was close. That was very, very close. Serrani going for another desperate move, trying to unlap themselves after a disastrous start to the race. Yeah, very, very close to getting involved in another incident there as yeah, Buller looks to try and get back onto the diffuser of Wellman. It's happened again. Wellman's had a bad exit here. Buller to the inside. Oh, Wellman goes defensive once again. It's going to be a braking contest. Wellman again not getting the better line there, but he's got a better exit. He's half a car length ahead now, so this might be optimal going into the top of the hill. As yeah, Buller forced to lift a little. In fact, both drivers forced to lift a little bit. As you can see, just creeping into shot there. Wellman still a little bit ahead, and for the third lap in a row, Buller is forced to yield.
Yeah, I mean, really telling stuff that Buller just doesn't have the confidence. He knows he probably could try and send it, but it could result in some potential contact. He doesn't want to take that risk. And he knows he probably has the pace to get it done elsewhere on the track, so just biding his time, waiting for that mistake to well and truly come. And there could still be more opportunities trying to set up a switchback corner after corner, but Moment knows exactly what he needs to do. Park it on the apex, don't give him a chance to get that switchback on the inside, and then drive the car out of the corner. Use that hesitation that Buller will have to have. A bit of a lock-up though from Moment, and once again a really close action here from Buller, who looks to the outside this time around. Moment holding that inside line once again, just about hanging on. Moment definitely knows how to defend this one. I mean, it's exactly the stuff we saw back in Road Atlanta. But will Buller be able to finally find his way through, find a way through the move, and find his way up into that P6 position once again, repeating what we've seen lap after lap down towards turn 1 we go. And Buller looking to the outside, Moment on the inside once again. Can he try and squeeze his way around the outside this time around, trying to look for that better run? Doesn't quite look like it, and once again they're running wheel to wheel through the S's.
The Asota Ministry of Defense is here. This is incredible stuff. Just I cannot believe the amount of sort of mind power that you have to think about all of the possible options to, you know, force a driver to make a mistake, to force them to go wide, to compromise their line. You've got Serrani also looking to get in on the action as well. I think there was a mistake there by Moelman. Yeah, Moelman pushed wide. Can he go for the move on the inside once again? Literally door bashing from both of them as Buller looks to go around the outside. It's just going to get run out of road, I think, as the next corner is a right-hander as well. So no choice but to go around the outside. Ooh, Buller looks like he's got better traction off there. Can Moelman shut the door? Moelman going in a little bit deep, but forced onto the apex as Serrani looking to get involved as well. No way, Moelman around the outside again. No way does he do this again, as Buller still looking to defend this one. The battle just carries on and on and on. It never ends. It's going to be ended by the race timer, I think, as I cannot believe it, but Buller has been forced back into 7th position yet again. This is ridiculous. This is outrageous racing.
And all the while, they just continue battling. They're losing time. Moment wide over the curb, though. Is this the chance finally for Buller as they make their way once again wheel to wheel through the S's? Still not quite close enough. Still, Moment has that outside line, which is oh so confident on the brakes. He knows he can stick it around. Does Buller try and finally brave it to the inside? No, once again backing out. Moment has the confidence there heading into the chicane, and he knows that Buller is not ready to stick his nose up the inside and try something on the brakes there.
We're going to go on board with Serrani at this point to see how the battle looks, as my voice is being strained by the amount of battling here at this point, as these two are absolutely demonstrating why they are at the top of the championship standings for the moment. Not yielding an inch, not giving a quarter to anybody here, as they are just looking to settle their differences on track. The championship might be a little bit in Buller's favour, but Moelman just wants to add that little hint of, maybe if I hadn't had so many incidents, I could have got you at some point. Both of them with a victory apiece. So fighting just, I think, more for pride than anything else. As you can see, everybody is trying just the most outrageous lines to try and get the traction out of the corners, as Serrani is just sat there thinking, well, what can I do realistically? I want to unlap myself, but I can't get involved in this battle. This is too good. They might have popcorn out, actually, as Moelman locks up. That's disastrous, but both drivers go wide in sympathy. This is just, it keeps on giving. Buller looking to get the move to the outside. This might be crucial now. Buller has the outside and has the traction, and has just a tiny bit of nose ahead. So who's going to be the last of the late breaker? Moelman very, very good into this turn. They're not yielding. Buller has to yield again. Moelman just sticks his nose in and says, well, if you want to crash, I'm going to go into that corner. And he gives the space. He leaves the room, but he puts that doubt in Buller's mind. And that is enough to cause enough panic to get them on the brakes. Buller around the outside, though. This is a box office stuff. Buller going all the way onto the curb. Has the inside for the next turn. Can he get the traction? This is where Moelman has done a masterclass of defense. Yeah, the outside line visibly slower, but the traction of Moelman keeps him in play. They're still side by side for the third turn, literally wheel bashing into the next right-hander. Moelman going deep, and Buller looks like he's got a little bit of an advantage there. Buller might be able to shut the door on this one. leaves the space a little bit. Serrani just does not know how to interpret this. Biller goes wide. Wellman retakes the position. Absolutely incredible. I cannot believe it. Both of them making mistakes and giving own goals, open goals to each driver. They both had that position. They both could have secured it, and none of them have in the end, as Wellman still somehow is holding out in this defence.
And still in turn one they battle, and still Prelude looks for the switchback. Doesn't quite get the perfect run out the corner, but it will give him a chance once again to try and get his nose up the inside, but not quite just yet through the S's. Can he try something towards the chicane, looking to the outside as he has done many times, switching to the inside, can't find a way through here though. Molman goes defensive, and Buller now late on the brakes. They both commit this time around. Molman even more committed. Buller continues to have to back out, and every single lap they're just ticking the clock down. Just 3.5 minutes left to go in this race now, and surely it's going to be a matter of time before we either see a sensational move be made or potentially contact be made between these two drivers, because surely at some point Buller will just commit to that chicane. He seems to be able to get alongside every single time. He just backs out. Surely at some point he will try that move and hope that it sticks, and it could end in disaster.
Yeah, this is just it has all the scenes of a last lap incident on it. I'm just going to point that out. But yeah, this has been just respectful racing for the time being, and everybody just trying to keep it as fair as possible. I've loved the racing we've had this championship. It's been, you know, apart from obviously you get collisions, it happens. Drivers underestimate or overestimate the grip that they have, and sometimes it goes wrong. But you know, we've seen very rarely an incident where it's been clearly a big miscalculation as Wellman gets wide but somehow gets the traction. Buller again going to the outside. This move has not worked for the past 3 laps, and he tries it again, but he gets better traction this time, maybe deploying the battery. He's about half a car length ahead this time. Is that enough? Has Wellman run out of battery? It looks like he can shut the door, but no, Wellman goes in. They both committed, both tap. They have both gone wide, and Wellman's still alongside Buller, defending it round the outside, and it looks like Buller could slam the door shut, but doesn't, leaves the space. Both of them being very, very respectful, and I must give a shout out to Serrani as well for giving us a bird's eye view. Wellman has locked up, which means that Buller can slam the door shut. Can Buller pull away now? That could have been the dreadful mistake from Wellman. They need to get the pace, they need to get the move done now. Buller needs to make a mistake, as the pace difference has been in Buller's favour before this little battle, as Wellman driving it in deep, just trying to get Buller unsettled, as we've got 1:28 left in this race, as Kraus still leads from Urbanovsky from Meisberg. As the top 3 have remained very stable, but Prodan looking to get a move done as well. It's looking as if this one might be done and dusted, as Serrani is closer to Wellman than... no, Wellman in the wall. Incredible stuff. That is desperate things, and that is a retirement from Wellman. Just that little bit pushing too hard, and as you said, Josh, that was always going to happen in the barrier at the last turn. I can't believe what I've seen, but he gave it his all. You've got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the championship battle coming into an end just before they started their final lap. Kraus is making his way through the S's here on the final lap of the race now as well. Not too many battles out there on the track, although we do actually have a battle for the podium positions. Mosberg and Prodhan, only a couple tenths separating them. They're getting ready to start their final lap of the race, and that could be a decisive battle up at the front of the field for that final podium position, and it looks like there's some traffic in play as well. So could be a very, very interesting battle here for this final lap of the race. Let's see if Prodhan can get close. I'm not exactly sure whether the lap car is the car in front or behind. I'd expect it's the car behind, but we have now hit 0 on the clock. Kraus now making their way through the final few corners, and very soon going to be coming across the line to make it 4 for 4 here in the ProtoH Series. making his way through these final few corners. Now ProtoH looking there to the inside of Mishberg into the chicane, trying to find the move there, couldn't quite find it just yet, and this battle going to run to the wire, but up at the front of the field, 25 seconds is the margin as Kraus comes through the final corner now to make it 4 different winners from 4 races. He wins here at Watkins Glen. What a drive, a big crash. He comes across the line. And there we have it. This battle still continues on for the P3 position as well. ProtoH just a couple of tenths behind. Can he try and hang on? Can he try and make the move? Only a handful of corners left to go for these drivers. Urbanowski will come home in second place. A great drive from him, his best finish of the series, and down the inside goes ProtoH, wheel banging with him and Mishberg, and into the barrier goes Mishberg. They still run wheel to wheel contact, more being made as they run through 2 corners left to go here at Watkins Glen, and they spin around goes ProtoH. A big mistake on the final lap, and that will cost him the P3 position and might even cost him Miranda coming through the final few corners as well. Going to be oh so close as they come towards the line, but Mishberg I think will come home in the P3 position. No, he gives the position back to ProtoH. Great sportsmanship between the 2 drivers. Mishberg surrenders the podium position. Moran coming home in P5, and Buller fighting away in the end with the lap car. I believe that is Saranyi, if I remember correctly. They're having a bit of a battle now after the retirement of Molman at the end there. But what a race we've had here in this final round of the championship. And Buller Ferrand is the champion here tonight. What a drive by him as he now comes up towards the line. And I hope we're going to get some donuts, because that would be amazing stuff.
Well, there's going out with a bang, and there's going out with a bang. That race was explosive right from the get-go. I think that's... Who's that doing donuts? There's somebody, I think, for that doing donuts for a podium there. Very, very respectful from Meisberg to give up that P3. Not exactly sure whose fault that one was, but, you know, you've got to give them credit where credit is due. And, yeah, that race just had everything. Close battles, and I think we've got Buller doing the victory donuts there for the championship. It is his. It has been his for most of the championship. After race 2, basically, they pulled out quite a bit of a lead, and they've just kept consistent, finally getting that race victory in race 3, and they have just had one hand on the trophy before that final incident by Wellman just sealed the deal, and then he could cruise home like he'd wanted to the entire race. But just action all throughout, and I think that one deserves a like just for the intensity of that race. My voice may recover in a few weeks' time. We won't know about that, as everything has disappeared behind a cloud of smoke. And just want to say, Kraus with the victory in that one, very you know, gladly deserved, I think, and finally just proving that he had the pace to get the victory there. Urbanovsky in second place, a great recovery from qualifying, as yes, I have gone to a different menu here. Let me get back to the comments box so I can do a little bit of a recap. So I've still got the results here. Urbanovsky, P2, just doing a wonderful job after qualifying, it must be said. ProtoH P3 after that collision with Meisberg. Yeah, unfortunate for both of them, but very respectful, it must be said. So credit to them, and credit to all of the racing, it must be said. Miranda P5, you know, a great race, very consistent with Buller P6, the last person on the lead lap after that mistake by Wellman, who finishes 2 laps down. Chapman P7, a great result for Chapman, to be fair. Just a few collisions, but demonstrating the consistency finally and getting a top 10 result. Gebhard P8 for the Franzas. That's that incredible pace once again, but getting caught up, I think, in too many battles to make their way up the order. Marino, a little bit of a disappointment there, because they were way up the order until a few collisions happened. Savoya, Another person that has been spotted on their roof at least twice during the race, so a very interesting race from their point. Sorani P11, would you believe, a lap down, but they caused chaos by overtaking people and just demonstrating that they had the pace to be with the front runners. Wellman, as I said, P12, disastrous incident there, just hitting the wall on the last corner. I really do feel for them. They gave it all in what I could possibly say is maybe the slowest car marginally. So they've done a very, very good championship to finish, I think, still P2. Andre 13th, unlucky for some, but they did finish the race, and Warren P14. And that is the last of the runners at the end of the race. So quite an attritional race as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting one for sure. I think a lot of the drivers probably going to be relieved that one was over. It definitely seemed to be a struggle for some of them. But yeah, ultimately, really great pace from Kraus, picked up pole position, picking up the win in the end. A margin of 24.7 seconds. Yeah, 24.7 seconds. Not quite 25 in the end. But
close enough.
What a drive it was. Yeah, it's
we
close
round
enough.
up the numbers. It's fine, right?
Yeah, it was a great drive from him, and yeah, I think he's definitely going to be really happy with that one. So yeah, massive congratulations to him, and of course, massive congratulations to Buller as well to come home with the championship. He's been so consistent. Fought for the win in the first race, had the lap car take him out on the final lap. Fought for the win in the second race, had the lap car take him out on the final lap. Fought for the win in the third race, and finally picked up the win. And of course, the championship almost fully secured. Decided to go for the last first. Had a bit of chaos.
Putting it on pole as well in race 4.
I think he was second. I think Kraus got the pole. I might be wrong.
No, I take that back. My brain malfunctioning. Don't worry, it happens a lot.
But yeah, and I mean, he did, I think, pick up a couple of pole positions throughout the championship as well. He has been so consistently up there and very much the deserving champion. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, just the incredible consistency and being there or thereabouts for race victory each time. Obviously, the last race, a little bit of an outlier, but yeah, just faultless, really. And demonstrating that ability to just go for the moves as well and do the overtakes in this last race has just been exemplary. The defensive, well, how can I call it other than masterclass, really, from Mulman. Just doing everything he could to keep faster cars behind, and the pace maybe wasn't there, but the defensive driving was just chef's kiss, honestly. And the battle, I thought we'd had a great battle in the mid part of the race between I think it was Miranda, was it Chapman and Mollman, and then all of a sudden out of the blue we had Buller versus Mollman to the end of the race, and I'm not sure which one of those was the better battle, but feel free to point that out in chat which one you preferred, because I thought they were both just exemplary driving and respectful driving as well. I've very rarely seen cleaner driving than that. Obviously, collisions happen. It's racing. Sometimes there's network issues involved. There always is, but they did very, very well to keep that clean. So yeah, shout out. By the way, also shout out to everybody who's driven in the events. Not always do we have an opportunity to show you on camera because there's so many things happening during the races, but we appreciate everybody that has showed up to drive or indeed to watch the events taking place. You know, every part of a community deserves respect and a shout out, and shout out to everybody who has been organising or indeed helping in the background to make sure that these races have been taking place, because it's quite a difficult thing to organise. There's a lot of rules to think about. There's a lot of complexities to do with getting such a complex package into a game, like I said, of course. So shout out to everybody who's made that possible. I wonder, Josh, if we have any interviews perhaps lined up, because it would be nice to at least interview the champion if we can get
I
it
believe we have all of our top 3 and our champion in the VC waiting room, so we should have plenty of interviews. I think first and foremost, let's head over to our race winner, though.
Hello.
Well, Georg, what's a race from you, honestly? The first part of the race was a little bit of a battle between yourself and, well, quite a few drivers at the start, although you did have a very good start, must say. But then somehow in the pit stop he pulled off a masterclass and just kept that lead until the end. So how was the race from your perspective? Did it work out the way that you planned? And obviously I know you're happy about the victory, but what does it mean to win the last race as well?
Well, I'm obviously very happy because for me, like strategy-wise and pace-wise, it all turned out like almost perfectly. I knew at some point because I don't know his name again, but the guy I was fighting for P1 before the pit stop, I knew he was on like fear of fuel or something because he had just very different pace through some corners. So I didn't really want to fight him too much. So I just tried to be consistent. I did have a few mistakes at the start, but it got better towards the end. And well, I started with a lot of fuel. I think with maximum fuel actually, because I wanted to do the same thing I did in the second race, which was like, I don't know, do you call it an undercut or overcut when you pit late?
Overcut.
So yeah, okay. So I did an overcut. I pitted like, I don't know, a minute before the pit window closed. So I didn't have to refuel too much. So I didn't have to spend too much time in the pits. And I also did that to avoid traffic because I knew if I would pit early, I would probably catch a lot of traffic or something. So yeah, that worked out perfectly. And I'm really happy.
Yeah, that's an understatement, that's for sure. We've had some close races, but this one was literally you just pulling off into the race lead, and you made it look easy from there on out. A lot of people struggling with the front tires. Was there any point in the race where you thought, this seems to be getting away from me, or were you quite confident throughout?
It was actually all right. I had some moments towards the end throughout, like, I don't know which number of the turn it is, but like fourth to last turn, which was like a really slow left-hander, I had a lot of understeer towards the end. And what was really sketchy was when you were on the curbs while applying power, your rear would slide away almost like every time. So I tried turning in earlier with the understeer, and then I got under the curb and almost spun like 3 times. But besides that, I don't know, like even on 50% tires, shortly before the first pit stop, the pace wasn't really that bad.
Oh, amazing description. Josh, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's not really much. It was just a really great drive from your side. And yeah, massive congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Yeah, exemplary drive. Don't need to restate that. Yeah, you've shown them all how to drive Watkins, Glen. That's for sure. And yeah, congrats on the victory. That makes it. I'm sure you're aware, but that makes it 4 different winners in 4 races.
It's actually really cool.
Well,
Because even in this race, I thought like in Road Atlanta, the cadenza was really dominant, but in this race, it felt like every car was pretty similar in pace.
certainly looks that way. We had quite a few battles between different car brands, so that's nice to be seen. And an old school track, Watkins, Glen. I guess I'll ask you a last little question because I always love asking the last little ones for the end. Do you prefer a track like this one or more technical track like this is old school, but a technical track like for example, Mexico last time out?
I actually didn't know this track during practice, so I had to learn it from the ground up at the start of practice. Not this session's practice, but when I first got onto it. And I think the combination of these cars with Watkins Glen is just really great because there's a lot of really long and deep corners where you have to trail brake a lot. And I think that works really great with these cars, like especially the force feedback is really great on the brake. So it was a lot of fun. And the only sketchy thing, which wasn't really the fault of the track, but more the fault of Assetto Corsa physics, was the fast chicane, because I was really anxious, especially towards the start of the race, to hit the curbs wrong and spin off and die. But I luckily found a really consistent way to hit them right and not really get spun out. So in general, the track was, I think it was a really great one. Could be even the best one of the series.
Wow. That's some big words right there. Well, we're glad you enjoyed it for a start. A great description. And yeah, all I have to do now is say enjoy your victory and thank you ever so much for the words at the end in the interview box.
Thank you too. Have a nice day.
All the best and celebrate your victory. Well, just want to remind people as well that if you want to try and recreate the race and have fun over the curbs and indeed driving what has now been described as the best track to drive on with these cars, you can head over to the link in the description of the video to get the sale at the moment of not only these cars, but also all of the content from VRC. Just thought I'd put that one out there in case anybody is thinking, I could do better in that race. I know we all could think we can. I know I definitely can't, so let's put it that way. Anyway, over to you, Josh. Enough of my blabbering on.
Yep, I think we will head over now. Let's go for Urbanowski finishing P2. Let's have a quick chat with him.
Well, Mr. Urbanowski, that was a very, very good recovery from the qualifying. I was commentating thinking, hang on a minute, he's all the way down, in the lower end of the top 10. This is not the form I'm used to seeing. And then all of a sudden now I see P2 in the race standings at the end. Well, describe it for us. How did it go? What happened in quali and how did you change it for the race?
Yeah, my quali went really bad because I didn't practice. I put up 3 clean laps, and the others I crashed. So then yeah, I was really frustrated with my current position. But my race start was absolutely incredible. Like the row in front of me both failed their timings. And then I think it was Warren that crashed behind me. And at least two Cadillacs crashed behind me. And
yeah,
then what?
No, sorry, carry on. I thought you were interrupting what you were saying. Carry on.
And then yeah, I was catching up to I think it was Kraus. So it was unusual to see that he was was not slow, but he was on the same pace as me. That's the same guy who put up a 1:30 in the qualifying, like 2 seconds faster than me. So that was a bit weird. And then I understood his strategy. So I think he went full fuel and oh shit. I don't have the words for it.
Don't worry. Try explain the best you can in any case.
Okay, yeah.
Or I can ask you a different question if you want. It's no problem.
No, so at least I think the Cadillac can hold up to 100 liters. So I think he did that. That's why he was quite slow in the beginning of the race. And then when he pitted, he didn't. Oh shit!
I can confirm.
Yes.
I can confirm that's what he did. He fueled the car up right at the start of the race and only pitted for minimal fuel afterwards when he did his pit stop.
Yeah, but so yeah, my goal was to finish P2. I was afraid of what was his name again? Mischberg, because he was catching up to me. It was 5 seconds. But then there was an incident that happened in the last stages of the race where Warren basically cut the entire circuit just to catch up to Mischberg and hold him up. So the 5-second gap went to a 20-second gap, and he lost the podium because of it.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff there. We had a collision in the last lap between Prodan and Mischberg, where he gave up the position to finish P4 in the end. So a little bit of collision at the end there. But from your perspective, then it was more about keeping consistent then after the pit stop and trying to just get to the end to secure second place, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Josh, over to you for more questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a question we've kind of thought about every single time. Did you consider trying to fully fuel your car up and do the similar thing to what Kras did, or was your plan all along to do what you've done there and refuel in the pit stop?
No, basically I used ChatGPT to make my strategy, to make all the calculations. So basically, I started with the race with 65 liters, and then I pitted for like 50. So quite slow pit stops. But no, I didn't think of putting fully fueling my car.
It's been quite outlandish strategies we've had during this series, especially from the cadenzas. They've just gone for fueling up the car to the maximum in race 1 and race 4. Now we've had it, and I think even during race 3 we had the same strategy from Kraus. So he likes to fuel his car up right to the maximum. Probably gets better value for money if he fills up before the race or something. But yeah, incredible to see the different calculations that he did for a strategy and using different tools as well. It's something that I wouldn't have thought of. So credit to you on that. And just maybe for a final question, I've just looked at the standings, and provisionally at least, sadly, you've lost out on P3 in the championship to ProtoH because he finished P3 in the race by 1 point, and you're equal with Miranda actually for P4 in the championship. So your thoughts on the championship and on the racing in general?
Yeah, really unfortunate. I think yes, I would have been P3 if I didn't miss out on the Road Atlanta race. Basically, what happened is that for some reason, before the double file starts, I jumped the initial start. So when the cars are not moving, and I went into the pits, and my game crashed. So yeah. And also there were a lot of incidents in the start of Atlanta, so I think I was P4 at the time, and I could have held this position and get more points in the championship.
So, in summary, unfortunate, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, commiserations, that's all I can say as a commentator. I'm sure he'll be reveling then at the shot to come back for a different championship or another championship to prove that you can mix it at the front of the pack. But from what I can see, a very solid pace and very good commitment over the course of the season. So congratulations for that, and commiserations for the perhaps lost opportunities.
Thank you.
Just want to say sorry, Josh. Any other questions from you?
No, there's nothing else from me. Just congratulations on the P2.
Well, thank you, lads.
And all the best for the future in racing and other stuff.
Yeah, I really hope there's another series.
We hope so too. To be fair, we've enjoyed commentating it. It's been a pleasure having you in the interview box. So thank you ever so much for your time, and celebrate that P2 like you should.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Alrighty, Josh. P3 perhaps on the cards?
Yes, we can get them in.
Oh, I like the username, Froyo the Pro. Nice. Okay, I'll use that username. That's a good one. Hello there, and P3 in the end, but dramatic circumstances right there. Can you describe a little bit what happened and your view of the race? Because there were quite a few incidents in that one, but you seem to have a lot of race pace.
Yeah, I admittedly didn't practice as much as I should have. I think I had decent pace, but I think I definitely should have practiced a bit more this morning. I had a long night last night, and then I just woke up like 15 minutes before, the driver briefing started. I had no idea how much fuel to use. I had no idea what my strategy was going to be. I just kind of, did like 3 laps, decent laps, and then kind of went off the fuel per lap numbers off that. And then, just went quickly on Google and Googled a sim racing fuel calculator, put in my lap time, and it was really haphazard. But I don't know. These guys were really, really quick in qualifying. Admittedly, I didn't get a perfect lap in, but even then, even if I did, I don't think I would have gone faster more than like half a second or so. And those guys were top 3 were like a second away from me. I had no idea how they had so much pace. Especially George Kraus, he was crazy fast. But yeah, I qualified sixth, and then for the starting grid, somehow I was fourth. I think some people got sent to the pit at the start for some reason, and then yeah, I had a pretty good start. I ended up second after turn one, and then me and whoever was in third, we were fighting into the chicane. But I think, yeah, I just clobbered the curb a little too much, and yeah, just completely unsettled the car, completely lost it. Yeah, and then I ended up dead last with Bula. And me and him were fighting for quite a bit at the very back end of the field. Um, yeah, that was yeah. We caught up to traffic. We had a couple incidents with traffic. One incident with traffic actually, and then Bula spun out on his own, and then I crashed into him because he was right in front of me. And then yeah, that kind of screwed me up too. And then yeah, I kept driving, and then I had another spin on my own, I think. Um, yeah, but then my pit strategy was actually pretty decent considering how haphazardly I figured it out. But yeah, I ended up like fourth by the time the pit window closed. Yeah, and then I don't know if you guys saw that, but I was right behind third position. I forgot who it was. I thought it was Rob, but it might have been someone else. I don't know. But we were on the pit straight. I was in his slipstream, and he was covering the inside like really tight, you know, hugging against the pit wall. And I was right behind him, uh, you know, trying to get a tow. And then I guess I got too close to the wall, clipped the wall a little bit, and it just sent me flying into the air, you know, doing like, you know, a bunch of 360s. And then I ended up like 20 seconds behind P3. And then I was just trying to put in qualifying laps to see if I could catch P3. But yeah, I guess Rob was P3 at the end, and me and him had like really close race pace. I think our average lap times was like less than a tenth apart, if I'm not mistaken. So it was really hard to catch him. But yeah, and then it got real spicy at the end. Yeah, we had a good little battle at the end, and I'm not sure what happened in the penultimate corner, or was it the second last? Yeah, second to last corner, and yeah, I guess we touched, and it sent me spinning. I wasn't sure if it was his fault or if it was my fault or if it was 50-50. But either way, at the end, he let me by just before the finish line, gave me the position. So, yeah. It was a decent race, but a lot of it was very lonely for me. There was a huge gap in front of me, especially when I was like after the pit window closed. There's like that 20-second gap I had forever. So a lot of it was boring, but yeah, the beginning at the end were spicy.
And that puts you into P3 in the championship, by the way, with 1 point ahead of Abranovsky, with Meisberg gifting you the P3 there. So, you know, how do you feel about that? Do you feel you're happy with your championship?
Considering how it went for Spa and Road Atlanta, yeah, I'd say it's not bad at all. I think if I didn't have that, you know, stupid mistake by missing the pit window in Atlanta at Road Atlanta, and then, you know, I don't know what happened at Spa. Like came into my pit box and nothing happened. Lost like a minute, and then put me a lap behind when I had to teleport to pit because nothing was happening. Yeah, I think I could have fought with Bouler for the championship. I definitely would have been second, worst case, if those two races had gone, you know, decently at least. But I'll take it. It's not bad. Third place by 1 point. I didn't think it was gonna be that close, but yeah, it was fun. We need more races. I need this championship to go on longer.
So what we're hearing is you want to come back for another championship. Well, we'll write that down. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Over to you, Josh, maybe for the last question.
I mean, to be honest, we've covered pretty much everything. It was a really great drive. I mean, yeah, definitely could have had a bit more luck at other points in the championship. But yeah, ultimately, I think you've done a really great job in securing the P3 overall and in this race as well. So yeah, really, really great job.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, all the best for the future races that you might be participating in. And yeah, great job. You've been one of the most spectacular drivers with the overtakes and the racing. So thank you for the entertainment. And yeah, all the best for the next ones.
Thank you. Glad I could entertain you guys. And I certainly enjoyed watching the stream back after the races, hearing you guys' commentary. That was entertaining as well. Hopefully we can have you guys back again for future championships. Or if, they decide to extend this one, I don't know. I hope they do. But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think I'll speak for both of us, right, Josh, in saying it was our pleasure to commentate this because it was genuinely incredibly fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been amazing action all the way through, and yeah, definitely one that we'd like to do in the future if the opportunity arose.
For sure. Anyway, thank you ever so much for your time, Faryar. I hope I'm not butchering your name, but yeah,
No,
thanks.
perfect. That's good.
Thanks for your comments, and yeah, as I said, all the best.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
And I think that leaves us with one person to say thank you to as well, and say congratulations to, right, Josh?
Yes, definitely.
And that is our champion, isn't it? Because that was a Season 2 Remember for one driver, and it was the one driver usually found at the top of the leaderboard. We've been calling him Buller the entire time, but he has just completely, I won't say decimated the field in terms of consistency, and even just carving your way back through the field on this last race, that has to be a satisfying championship victory, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really happy. Yeah, I worked hard like the first few races to get that result. I think today's result is not maybe representative of what I can do because as I said, I worked much more on the previous races than on this one. That's why my consistency wasn't as good as the previous races, but nice race. I was pretty sure that I could win the championship on this race, to be honest, because I knew that Lucas wasn't the fastest on the grid. He is definitely not the slowest, but there is like really good driver at the top, and I knew that if he wanted to win the championship, he needed like P1 and me P12 or something like that. So I was confident and relaxed, but maybe a bit too much relaxed because few mistakes. But at the end, the result is here, and I'm really happy.
Can you just go over with me on one thing then? What happened at the race start in race 4? Because you did a really good qualifying, P2 if I remember correctly, and you were at the back of the pack for the start. So was something going on there? Obviously, as you said, exemplary driving from you, but we were a little bit distracted by that one at the start of the race. Maybe you can explain it.
Yeah, I was like using all the time I had just before when you put your car on the grid, and I was looking at my fuel and extra, and I saw that on the clock there was 5 seconds remaining, so I clicked on the join button, but I think that the lights already came out, so like starting to go red, and I put it in the pits, and even after the race started, I was locked for like 14 seconds. So that's why I was really far from the pack at the start. So yeah, I'm glad that there was no like 30 drivers today because it would have been much more complicated, So that's why basically I was at the end of the pack, and just all these spins on the first is on the first stint are on me. There was no collision with anybody. I'm sorry to all the people I took off because of that, by the way. So yeah, second stint were much stronger in terms of pace and consistency, but not the start of race we wanted. But yeah.
Well, apart from that, I can say it's been pretty, I wouldn't say easy going, but you've certainly shown the pack what you have to do to win a championship. There's a lot of people, though, that have said that they think they could have challenged you for a championship. So will we see some sort of defense in a future series? Or, are you happy to say, hey, you had your chance, better luck next time?
Yeah, of course, there were like the two major people that could have beat me was Antonio, which unfortunately has a lot of problem during the races, and it was a lot of time not his fault. So yeah, think about him. Think about Prodan too. First race he was a bit unlucky with the back markers. Second, he was literally leading and he forgot to pit, so he could have won this race. And he did a great result on the last two ones. So yeah, considering that he was very, very good, he could have challenged me, of course, for the championship. And I know him a bit because we practiced together, and I know that he has nothing to learn from me. He's, I think, as fast as me, but yeah, maybe a little better luck and overall better consistency could have gave him the championship. But it is what it is. There's maybe other people that could have challenged me, but I don't have any name right now.
A decent explanation, I find. Over to you, Josh, maybe for a question.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's been a tough championship, I'd say. I mean, of course, you had quite a bit of bad luck yourself. How do you think you would fare if we did go for another championship, maybe in a couple weeks' time, couple months' time? Do you think you'd be fighting there? Do you think you would have that edge again, or as we said, do you think that there would be other contenders there? Do you think maybe you'd be able to get slightly better luck?
Um, Next championship, if it happens, I think it would be in October, and next year I'm getting like studies a bit more seriously because I'm superior studies, so I don't think I will try to participate in the championship, but I will surely not be as competitive as I am right now because I can like practice a lot and build some race pace, but next year it will maybe not be the case. So, but yeah, I love this championship, so I will try everything to be in it if there is another one. So I think you will see me again, but maybe not with the same, same pace or same competitivity or consistency. I don't know, but I will try for sure. But I don't know how will be the things in 5 months.
Yeah, a lot can change, as they say. Josh, anything else to add?
No, I think that is it. Just massive congratulations on the championship and the race win you had, of course, last week as well. Unfortunately, not able to pick up more, but yeah, definitely some amazing drives from you.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to thank the VRC team to organize that championship. That I enjoyed a lot. And I wanted to thank Lucas with a great battle at the end of the race. But yeah, I think winning this championship is my way to say thanks to VRC team for making this incredible car. So yeah, amazing. Thank you a lot. Thank you for the commentary crew as well, and for all the people that participate to that championship. It was really fun. Thanks.
It was our pleasure to commentate on it, as we've said many times at this point. We've had a lot of great people participating not only in the races but organising in the background, as you said. So thank you for thinking of them, and I echo your comments. I'm going to now leave you enjoy your championship victory and allow you to celebrate it like you should. And indeed, I will also say good luck for your studies that will be starting, I presume, in September. So all the best for that.
Yeah, thank you a lot. Thank you. Yeah, take care, and maybe to another time.
We hope so. We hope so. Anyway, thank you ever so much for your time, and congratulations once again.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, I was hoping, lastly, to get a little interview with Lucas, but I think he's a little bit microphone shy. So all I will say is congratulations on the P2 and great defensive driving, entertaining driving throughout the entire series. And indeed, what is a commendable drive in, I'd say, probably marginally the slowest car of the pack. So, you know, hats off, basically. Hats off for you doing the organising of the races and indeed participating in them. I know that's a difficult task to do. So yeah, just wonderful, solid job for P2 in the championship. I'm not sure if you have anything to add there, Josh, but I just thought I'd say that.
Yeah, I mean, he's always provided us with some really great action. I mean, great battling today, and remembering back to Road Atlanta when he picked up that victory. It was an amazing battle that time, and yeah, I mean, it's amazing stuff from him, and I think he should be really proud of the drives he's put together as well.
Yeah, driving the car like a madman, and it was. I was presuming from about mid-race that it might end in disaster, and sadly it did, 2 laps from the end. But, I don't think that detracts at all from the good lunacy, let's call it, of the outrageous defense that we saw. Like that, some of the moves I will remember for a long, long time, and I think everybody watching will remember them as well. But because we don't have an interview with him, that sadly is going to bring the show to a little bit of an end. But before I do, I will take the chance once again to say that you can pick up the content on sale at the moment, link in the description. And I just want to extend a massive thank you to VRC for allowing us to do the commentary on it. And it's been an experience for me as well to discover new types of racing and indeed commentate on new types of racing, and I can honestly say it's some of the best racing that I've seen and been able to commentate on. So hats off to, once again, the people developing the cars and indeed the tracks, and to all of the organisers for doing it. And I need to say once again a shout out to everybody who's driven in the races. No matter the result that you had, you make the show in the end. And so watching all of you drive and giving it your all and your utmost out on track has been an immense pleasure of mine. And a shout out also to Josh in the comms box as well, because without your wonderful commentary, it would only be half a commentary team.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some amazing racing. Everybody doing some amazing jobs out here. So yeah, we have to say a massive thank you to everyone for being able to put this all together. It's been a pleasure being here on these Saturdays to commentate, and what great racing we have had as well.
Yeah, indeed. And how to end a series like this? We've had the thrills, we have had the fights for victory, we have had the outlandish strategies, we've had just about everything you could ever wish for in a championship event, including a championship finale showdown, and 4 different winners on the board. If that's anything to go by, then the next championship, if and when it happens, may be even more exhilarating. So stay tuned on the VRC channels. I'm sure at some point they'll have new content or indeed new races to for everybody to enjoy. So yeah, shout out to everybody once again. But I just want to say many, many thanks for a great season, and hopefully see you all next time on VRC. But for the moment, it's time to end the show. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. Until next time, it's been myself and indeed Josh in the commentary box. We've had a delight commentating for you. Thank you ever so much for watching. And indeed, bye-bye for now. See you next time.
Under the lights, but I'm feeling alone. Lost in the crowd, yet your ghost calls me home. Echoes of laughter, memories stay. But in my heart, the colors fade away. I still feel you here, oh, and every beat so close. Holding on, but I know, oh, you're just a dream I can't let go. lost in the night, searching for you.